Hello.
Hey,
How's it going?
going well.
Good.
So, this time in our series of 15 videos, which this is number 2, this time we're going to do creation myths.
Cool.
And on that thinking, and also because this is also part of a political show and not just history only or something like that.
Yeah.
We address everything. So I wanted to address, in a sense, what I see as, in a sense, the creation myth of white supremacy.
Okay.
Which is Atlantis.
Ah.
It's not that Atlantis, when it was originally written by Plato, was meant to be a racist sort of calling card or some bullshit.
Right.
It's just that sometime, well, let's put it this way. I used to know nothing or almost nothing about it, other than I just knew it was a fake story and then stopped caring.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
as one should do. Yeah.
It wasn't a long philosophical debate. You go to the Wikipedia page, and I don't know, like the 4 or 5 sentences down, fake.
Yeah, it's pure fiction. So
yeah. I mean, it wasn't like I put like a lot of effort into it. I'm like, it's fake. Duh, it's fake.
Yeah, that's right.
But we need to take it more serious, not because the myth is serious. Just like, to me, myths of gods or creation myths, it's all fucking nonsense to me.
Right.
Especially because I'm an anti-theist and anti-religionist, which, some leftists like to think that I'm a colonizer because you cannot, to them, be anti-theist or anti-religious and somehow have a credible leftist position. There's some people.
It's very strange.
And I kept telling this woman, I don't agree. She's like, well, what do you mean by religion? And I'm like, so I gave her a definition summary of what, in a sense, the definition online is.
Yeah.
Because I kind of agree. It's basically that you have some sort of a worship or devotion, and thing toward, a God or a spirit being or energy force or whatever.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, okay. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, that sounds like religion to me. And so she was saying, well, before I told her it was a definition from, Wikipedia, well, I took a few words out and simplified it, but it's the same fucking pretty much thing.
Right.
Anyways, she said that wasn't, that was too broad. So this is why I was talking to me. She wanted to make it like an argument that somehow I'm less ethical because I'm so hardcore against myths and everything.
Right.
It's not going to happen. I'm a philosopher. I'm literally attacking myths, not people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I clearly, in fact, the thing she was commenting on, I literally said, I do not support any attacking of people, even though I don't agree with this stuff, and I hope it all goes away. And when I say go away, this isn't people think. That doesn't mean I want Gestapos in the street. I'm an anarchist.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah,
if everyone wants to keep believing in religion, guess what happens in Damien's world? I guess they keep believing religion.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Just stop. Don't oppress people.
Yeah, right. So, exactly. Especially also your children.
Yeah.
Because they have fucking dignity and rights of their own.
Yeah.
Anyways. Right. And so to me, I wanted to address that thing, like I said. So the myth, John Hoops, which I trust his opinion on this, especially because I don't know even close to what he knows about when it comes to Atlantis. I'm like total newbie compared to John. Don't know fuck all. I know some things, right. that like good like John does, but this is not fucking one of them, just so you know.
Right.
So, but I trust his opinion, right? So, because it's credible and he's never shown me anything else incredible. Just kidding for the people, because just so you know, Joe Rogan's show was calling him fucking John Hoops. I mean,
of course they were.
So I just want to clarify, what's going on. And also, I think it's ridiculous when people are like, well, Damien, you just, I don't know what they say, fan or something, or being paid. John Hoops doesn't have any money, and no one's paying me. I'm not paying him. I don't like him. I told you before, I don't like him because somehow he's important or famous or doesn't like Graham Hancock. I like him because his ideas are good. That is why I like him.
Yeah.
Which I hope the same reason he likes me, because my ideas are good, not because of my flamboyant personality or any other kind of nonsense.
I obviously none of the people have spoken to John in any capacity because he's just a friendly guy. Like, he's just a nice person.
you do not even know some of the horrid shit. They put like a snake and put his head on it and all kinds of horns and fangs. I'm like, what the? And calling him fucking John Hoops. I'm like, what? That's why I also wanted to start calling him the Great John Hoops. It was simply because it fucking pissed me off. These people talking bullshit about someone who is fucking good. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm just gonna tell it like it is, though.
Yep.
And also, just so you know, too, John Hoops is fighting the anti-racist war.
Yeah.
Because he is exposing these fuckers as promoting racist shit.
Yeah.
They like to say they're not and they didn't. Okay, but you keep promoting the bullshit that's racist. Or like 30 years later, and what's his name? Hancock, because of the pressure of outside people telling him that, hey, look, racists are using your shit as literal propaganda. And so he finally went, well, yeah, I don't support that. Oh my God, 30 years. That was so fucking hard. Yeah, I find that to be dog shit. I mean, I told you, if someone used my shit as racist, I would like a fucking write a blog on it. It would be the immediately first. We'd have to stop all these videos. We would have to do a video on that shit.
Yeah,
because
and address that.
Fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, it's that fucking serious to me. What the fuck?
Right.
Fuck racist. Fuck racism is stupid as fucking dog shit. And to me, all the languages and all the DNA and the movements and the people everywhere should totally get you to clue that the way we think about shit is stupid. It's fake. It's hateful. Anyway.
Yep.
So, and what's really crazy too is the Atlantis, right? So the original myths, just going back to Plato real quick. We're not going to go look at it exactly, but you can go look at the page, but in a minute. But I don't want to read the whole fucking thing, so I'm just going to give you my little summary. So, anyways, Plato writes a fake story, okay, and the story really is about how this society, because it doesn't do stuff like Athens or whatever, and I'm not just or whatever. Doesn't doing stuff like the great Greek society, and so it falls. And we learn a moral lesson. Don't be like them, in a sense, sort of. Anyway, so it was in a sense not a totally bad story, right? That's what I'm saying is it doesn't start racism. Did you get my point?
Yeah.
At least, there's nothing like inherently racist about the story. Then, like I sent you, can't remember his name because I'm not.
Ignatius Loyola.
No,
Donnelly?
the guy before that, Francis Bacon.
That? Oh, yes, Francis Bacon. Yeah.
Well, we're going to start at the beginning. Might as well start at the beginning.
Yep.
So the beginning was Plato, which real quick, let's go to Atlantis on Wikipedia.
Yep.
Just so people could just read the first paragraph or something. Because I don't like people just trusting me. I want to,
Sure. So it says Atlantis, island of Atlas, is a fictional island mentioned in Plato's works, Timaeus and Critias, as part of an allegory on the hubris of nations. In the story, Atlantis is described as a naval empire that ruled all western parts of the known world, making it the literary counter-image of the Archimedes.
So stop real quick at that. Okay, stop real quick at it. Do you see how Graham Hancock, the whole known world?
Yeah,
that's
right. Yeah, that's
he
right.
always goes, well, I'm not specifically talking about Atlantis. Like, oh, well, you did mention Donnelly, and you got your idea from Donnelly, who did the Atlantis. But yeah, it's not about Atlantis. But it sounds almost exactly like Atlantis, but it's not Atlantis. Okay. And then also, if it's not Atlantis, why do those racist supporters, seemingly, right? Because we're going to watch a video real quick after this about the racist supporters to hear their own words.
Yeah.
Their own nonsense. So they try to say, oh, well, no, John Hoops is pushing that this is racism, but it's not racism. No. What it is that people used to have biblical ideas of race. And I'm just going,
Hold on now.
When you even do that, my anti-fascist mind goes, that's a fucking racist right there.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, my God. You're literally giving them cover.
Give me a break.
Right? I was like, oh, you're literally giving him cover. Oh, like, and he also says it like it's all reasonable. Like, oh yeah, because it's biblical. Yeah, because the Bible is totally great. It tells you can stone your child to death. It says you should not have a witch to live. The Bible has got garbage in it.
You should go and sacrifice your son because the voices in your head tell you to.
And then you get saved by a goat. Anyway, so
yeah, yeah, that's right.
and then of course, cut off your baby's penis skin for some fucking stupid, unnecessary reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, so racist, right? So Francis Bacon, right? So Francis Bacon writes,
yes,
the New Atlantis.
Right.
But read real quick. I sent you a thing. What does it say? Because you don't need to read all about it, but
right. So New Atlantis, I'll just.
You see it? It says New Atlantis is
an incomplete utopian novel by Sir Francis Bacon, published posthumously in 1626. The novel depicts a mythical island, Ben Salem, which is discovered by the crew of a European ship after they have lost their way in the Pacific Ocean somewhere west of Peru. New Atlantis is a story dense with provocative details.
Right. And so, in a sense, if you read it, it's actually better than the later racist shit. Believe it or not. Because it actually is kind of probably white people, like the Europeans are finding it. But it's not, once again, super racist. It's Donnelly. These people, like Dan the debunker dude, right, defends Donnelly, which we already talked about. 18th century fucking politician in America, probably a racist.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Almost certainly, even if he was like semi-progressive for the time, still probably racist.
Right. Nowadays, he would just be flat out racist, because progressive back then was flat out racist now.
Right. Yeah. The progressives then were the people who were like, well, we shouldn't enslave them, but they're still not equal to white people.
See? Exactly.
Right?
Just like Lincoln.
Yeah.
Not equal, but needs to they don't have to be in slavery. Like,
yeah.
That's still not great.
That's still racist.
Anyway, so but like I said, so to me, just the fact that you would go out of your way to defend fucking racists, but see why? Let's assume for their thing, they're not racist. So they're not racist. Defending this racist stuff as not racist could be because they want it to be more palatable to non-racists, right? Because remember, Graham Hancock is basically fucking pushing Atlantis, so he needs it for the PC police to be kind of okay and maybe not totally racist.
Yeah.
Right. Even though his ideas, like I said, was literally used by racists that openly say, hey, we use his book and give it to people. And they say the reason we give Graham Hancock's book is it gets them open to the idea of white superiority.
Right.
And I'm like, and then as the anti-fascist and anti-racist, that makes me hate the fucking shit.
Yeah. Any material that can be used to open the door to white supremacy is not a good material.
And it's certainly shit that we should hate and want to fucking, especially when it's wrong and it's, toxic. And then people are promoting this and saying, don't trust science because of Atlantis bullshit.
Right.
Which, of course, was not racist at all. Even though literally the guy that wrote Ignatius Donnelly did write some racist shit, which we're going to listen to. So enough of me fucking just bullshitting about, or talking about the fake white supremacy dream culture that never existed, but their hate sadly still exists. So I gave you the video. Yeah. Well, actually, I wanted to look first at the picture. I sent you a picture. Rob Wright. Yeah, then we'll do the video. Because then you know what the video is about in a sense. Oh, by the way, this person is showing 4 different pages with highlighted stuff that's racist to just go ahead and back up that, no, this is definitely racist.
Donnelly, he says Donnelly definitely excludes black people from the civilized races of Atlantis and the descendants of Noah. He says Negroes were slaves to Atlanteans. Donnelly classifies black people as not from Atlantis, therefore barbarian, savage, and incapable of civilization.
Right, and that's just so we're on the same page. that the person who wrote the most famous stuff about Atlantis which is Atlantis, the Alluvian world or some bullshit that Ignatius Donnelly wrote.
Yeah.
But we want to move on to how this gets to Graham Hancock. Like I said,
okay.
Racist. And then literally, I don't know why they're arguing. It's so obvious. He wrote a book, dude. We have his words. But anyways.
Okay. So the first video we want is called I Call BS.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
I'll open that up.
And there's the more of the video is actually good. I don't want to focus on all that because we're doing stuff. I just felt like this is a myth that needs to be also debunked because it's a creation myth for racists.
Right.
Ignatius Donnelly did not believe in a white Atlantis, despite Flint Dibble making sure to name drop that anytime he gets a chance.
Okay, that was our friend Dan Richards asserting that Ignatius Donnelly did not, quote, believe in a white Atlantis. So in case you're not familiar, Ignatius Donnelly was the author of Atlantis, the Antediluvian World, in 1882. Donnelly laid out his arguments for Atlantis being the ultimate source of the civilizations that one finds around the world. His arguments are much the same as those used by Graham Hancock and others, basically that travelers or refugees from Atlantis carried the seeds of civilization around the world, North America, South America, Egypt. Donnelly's evidence largely consists of claimed similarities in architecture, language, and mythology among widely separated societies. And his contention is that these similarities could only have arisen because of a common source. And for him, that common source is the lost continent of Atlantis. So Richards is railing here against what he thinks is the unfair characterization of Donnelly's work. He insists
Pause it for a second. So, and on this channel, we offer the thing that DNA moved, and then people put their brains with them, and so you have similar or somewhat similar beliefs.
Yeah.
And the beliefs to default. That was the thing I argued with the woman, where she was saying, I have to not use the word religion with native religions, and I can't. What did she say? I can't address their stuff as deities because that would be colonialism. And I'm like, see, I address all deities. I don't like, and also to me, like they're saying there, a lot of this stuff is connected. In fact, I'll send you real quick to see connected. I told you before, and Graham Hancock talks about this, but of course, bullshit wise. But we explained the mythology that yes, things are connected and people move. And so this is the meme I'm going to send you or whatever is for like the Axis Mundi, but as it relates to the Milky Way, that people thought the Milky Way was, a way to get to heaven.
Okay.
Which I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
But remember, Corey, everything is a sky burial. All beings go to the sky.
Right.
So that's where heaven is. So
yeah,
it's just how.
Sure.
Anyways, I'm just saying a lot of myths. I mean, like most of the myths of the world practically did. This is the case. People don't go in the ground; they all go in the sky. Anyways, I'm just saying, and it's usually stars. You see the picture?
Yes.
Right. It says the souls of the dead on the Milky Way.
Yeah.
And so you see all the places in the world it is. And there was in ancient Egypt.
The Milky Way was a ladder to the afterlife, and the galaxy was seen as a conduit for the souls of the dead in many ancient cultures.
Right. And then I have some of the Native American ones, not all of them, but some of them just to give you an idea. Anyways, but so that they were all the way down. And so these cultures, right? Graham Hancock thinks it's because Atlantis had traveled around. That's absolutely nonsense. I've shown you that DNA shows us. But once again, the Milky Way, just like when I showed you the thing about the people from clay, it's kind of bizarre how there really isn't a lot in Asia.
Right. It's that section there that's kind of blank for this particular belief.
Right. So it tells you there's something else. Like I told you before, I would have to ask questions. I know they're connected, but that makes more questions. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, what's going on there actually, eh?
Right. So something changed or refused to change. So
right.
To me, it's either one of the two.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I would have to do more studying. But my point is to show you that once again, these cultures are not like this because of accident, and they're not like this because of some kind of a, Atlantis. They're like this because people move. I can show you, and it was different people multiple times,
Right.
but a lot of it relates to centers on Siberia. So, but that's also why it's weird when it's not there.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, so going back to this thing, just to say that our explanation is just natural.
Yeah.
People moved and culture was there, and then you ended up with mythology.
Yep.
So yeah,
For sure.
I just wanted to say that I know archaeologists, that's not exactly their position, but it absolutely is my position.
Right. Fair enough.
And others would have had a very simple biblical view of race, and that Donnelly did not see Atlantis as a white homeland.
The way that these guys attach the white supremacy thing is they go back to guys from the 1800s that wrote about Atlantis that had some old school views on race. Now, they believed in the biblical races, and the way that the biblical races came to be is something you'll never find John Hoops or Flint Dibble tell you, because it guts their entire argument. Before the flood, there was one race of humans. After the flood, Noah gets drunk. Three of his sons are around. One of them picks on him, laughs at him. Two other ones don't. The one that picked on him was Ham. The African people were considered to be the Hamites. The Sam, the Semitic people, were in the middle. And then the other one, the Japhethites, which eventually became the Aryans, were considered to be the white people. That was the European view of race for up until about 150 years ago. So 200 years ago, a guy writing about Atlantis would not have thought it was an Aryan Atlantis, because Aryans didn't exist until after Noah. It was one of Noah's sons. So before the flood, there was no Aryans. So anytime somebody says that this old school shit believes in, all you have to do is scratch the surface, and you'll find that's not the case at all. This guy didn't believe in a white Atlantis. Ignatius Donnelly did not believe in a white.
I can't anymore with before.
Total bullshit, right? Total effing, dude. You know when he starts off, well, they have an old school view of race. You mean racism? Because that was the old school view of race. What the fuck?
That's right. And to think this guy, he would ignore the context of his life. He would ignore the context of the culture around him, and he would apply this pure version of race that came before him, that was older than him.
Right. Well, he says biblical.
Absolute nonsense.
He says biblical. Speaking of biblical, okay, I lived in Portland. I was shocked to find out that they in Portland, they had segregated white and black. I can't remember now if it was Baptist or what the fuck it was, because I'm not super into religious things, but now especially.
Right.
But anyways, and then the white church, I don't know when it was, like the 90s or something, or 80s, or said, hey, you know what? Why don't you come over and visit? But anyways, my point is, religion was segregated. They said that, as I was talking to someone about that, because I thought, wow, that's fucking crazy. And he was saying, well, they started it because, I can't remember, I think they had to sit in the back or something. Like they weren't allowed to sit in the front with the rest of the white people. In Portland, Oregon, not fucking South or whatever.
Right.
So because religion supports a lot of fucking hierarchies.
Yeah.
Not just one.
Right.
Racism is just another gender. Just like, speaking of which, real quick, just like gender. That fucking court right now is fucking figuring out, do trans people have rights? Let me tell you something. Nothing makes me more fucking mad than when people fucking somehow decide if people have rights. They do. Fuck off. There's nothing else. You know how short it would be? You would come and go, Damien, do you have rights? Of course they do. Next.
Yeah, that's right.
What the fuck?
The only
Holy
question is
shit.
whether or not those in power recognize those rights. That's the
Speaking
only
of,
thing
speaking
that's
of power. So abuse of power. I know that you said you don't care about
Hunter Biden.
Because I when it comes to politicians, I told you. I hate even that I have to know their names. I'm sorry, people. I'm an anarchist. Even though I know a lot about politics, like Justin, I appreciate that someone else would go do that. Because you know what? Just hearing him say like a whole bunch of like politicians' names and shit about him, I just want to not listen. I can't help it. It's like my brain. It feels like my brain has so much space for important information. And here comes dog shit. And for me, there's no room for that. Anyways, that's just my personal opinion. Anyways, so I wanted to say I have a bunch of I wrote some stuff on line about it, the Hunter Biden thing, but it really comes to me about power. So I really think all people should be able to do drugs, all of them, even if they kill themselves with it. Totally should have the right. I told you it's 4. So I do not support any law ever that details an adult to not do drugs.
Yeah.
Never. So that does not bother me at all, right? I support people having a right to guns. I told you, I have less opinion about people's right to own machine guns without control because people are being fucking gunned down in fucking Walmarts, churches, fucking, out in the parks and fucking video concerts and all kind of fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
So it's because I care about the people.
Yeah.
But there's a bigger problem, right? So to me, right, so I don't have a problem he had a gun. I don't have a problem. Certainly don't have no problem with him being on drugs and having a gun. That
right.
Unless he's committing crime. And so he has a tool in his house. What the fuck? I mean, Okay, so I agree with you in that sense. As an anarchist, those laws mean dog shit to me. Yeah. So even if you said he broke all of them, I'd be like,
So what? Yeah.
So that's not my problem, just so people know. Like that is zero the problem. Because someone said, I can't believe this pisses you off. What pisses me off is when power is abused. Did he say all drug offenders can get off? He says that. Damien celebrates. I don't care if Biden also gets off. I mean, what's his name? Hunter Biden. I don't care if Hunter Biden gets off, right? Don't give a... My problem was when elites only protect their fucking family and friends. Yeah. That shit is nepotism, and it pisses me the fuck off. Yeah. So it's not about the laws because I don't even believe in those laws.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, everyone should be off. And then Biden should have done the thing and said, you know what? Let's have clemency for people that used to have drugs. I'm going to wipe all their things sweet. Right?
Yep. That's right.
Wouldn't that be that? I mean, I would be
a mass pardoning of all non-violent drug offenders.
I mean, even other anarchists. How would we not go, fuck yeah, that's pretty fucking
good call. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
And then another thing I've heard people say, which also I told you I asked the question and no one likes to answer. None of the liberals like me ask this question. Okay. So should Biden save and protect or pardon all the people Trump might come after? Because he already said several names of people, not just Hunter Biden, as if somehow the only person. He's coming for Hillary Clinton. He's coming for fucking Biden his fucking self. He should have gave himself a fucking pardon because if he's worried, because Trump, you think he's going to go after Hunter, motherfucker, he's going to go after you.
Yep.
Anyway, so he didn't. Right? So that's a fucking problem right there. If he would have, I would have been, once again, that would have been okay. If he said, I decided to not just do my son, but really think of everyone that could have been, I'm going to give a blanket pardon to all these people that Trump is on his list. Just like the FBI director, he wants to go after him. There's a list of fucking shit he wants to go after. I'm just saying, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So don't give me this fake bullshit. I'm just saying for me personally, do not give me this fake bullshit line that he is doing it because he cares about Trump attacking people. If he did, he would have helped more than his own fucking family.
Yep.
And they go, well, you need to understand, Damien. Someone said this to me. You need to understand. He's a father. Okay. If I buy that logic, then every judge should be able to give their family and friends free pardons and no big deal because you know what? We have to feel, in our heart for their children.
Right. Either things are unjust or they're not unjust. And so if it's okay for Hunter Biden to get off of these things, then it's okay for...
By the way, yes, like you say, I think those shouldn't be laws. So he shouldn't even be charged for them.
But there's millions of Americans in prison
for all kinds of unjust shit.
That's right. So let's actually do this.
Right, you get my point. So what I'm mad about is that it's the hypocrisy. It is the self-dealing. Not only that, he gives it, but he didn't say because he was charged for 2 crimes. tax evasion or whatever is tax crime, and then also, you know, the drug or gun charge, whatever. So he didn't just give him that; he gave him for 10 years complete immunity for anything, not even charged, not even found. The entire, like, who the fuck gets pardons like that? Do you realize the only person who in the history of America that's got a pardon like that was Nixon,
right?
Who needed a fucking pardon, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyways, but I just say, I sorry to go off on that fucking tangent, but
for sure.
But I'm just saying, it's a similar bullshit. Don't give me this fake bullshit. Like I said, you know what's crazy? I used to follow this guy. He used to follow me and say he liked my stuff, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him now.
No kidding. Yeah, because
he's
making excuses for racism.
Himself deeper.
Yeah, for sure.
Atlantis.
I call bullshit on that. Richards is completely wrong. So let's get into the facts.
Okay.
So Richards says that Donnelly, quote, didn't believe in a white Atlantis. Thankfully, we don't have to try to figure out what Donnelly believed. We can just read what he wrote. Just as a data point, the word Aryan appears in the antediluvian world 101 times. Donnelly first mentions Aryans on page 2. Atlantis was the original seat of the Aryan or Indo-European family of nations, as well as the Semitic peoples and possibly also of the Turanian races. Aryan didn't start off as a loaded word. It was introduced to the English language around 1800. It was originally a Sanskrit word. By the time of Donnelly's writing in 1882, the word Aryan had morphed from a term used for ethnocultural self-designation in India to a term that was well used and well loved by some of the most famous racists in Europe. The term is in his book 101 times. So who did Donnelly think these Aryans were, and what did they have to do with Atlantis? It's interesting how Donnelly tries to fit the biblical narrative of the flood into his ideas about Atlantis, and Donnelly's thoughts on race are anything but the simple story that Dan Richards tells us. Donnelly, like many of the racists of his time, considered all of Noah's sons to be white. That's Ham, Shem, and Japheth. White, all of them. And Donnelly recognized 4 major races in the world: black, red, yellow, and white. And Donnelly says, of these 4 races, the Bible only talks about one race, and that is the sons of Noah, and they are all white. The Japheths, which are the Aryans, the Hamites, which are the sons of Ham, which are slightly darker-skinned people like Egyptians, and then you've got the sons of Shem. For Donnelly, then, everyone on Atlantis was white. Some were whiter than others, and the Japheths, sons of Japheth, family of Japheth, those were the Aryans, and they were, of course, the whitest of the white, and therefore the best of the best, according to all your European races of the time. All right, in this construction of the 4 races and those 3 families or types being inside of white race and being the sons of Noah is not an original idea of Donnelly's. He quotes Francois, what's the dude's name? He quotes Francois Lenormand at length about this. So Lenormand also split the peoples of the world into these 4 quote-unquote great races: white, yellow, black, red. And Lenormand also considered the family of Ham, which is one of Noah's sons, to be white, not black. He said they possess all the characteristics of the white race, but are distinguished by their dark color. He considered the family of Shem also to be white, saying that they are a purer and handsomer type of the white race than the Hamites. Still not as good as the Japhethites, though. The family of Japheth was the best of the whites. So again, those are your Aryans. So all of the sons of Noah were white, according to Lenormand, and Donnelly was borrowing from him and quoting from him heavily. And Lenormand wasn't just, trying to classify the branches of humanity. He was a white supremacist. He very clearly states that. He writes that the white race has a marked superiority over all others. In the nations of this race, we find from remote antiquity the greatest development of civilization, classic white supremacy. And the Japheths, the Aryans, were, of course, the whitest of the white and therefore the best of the best in his construction. And where was Francois Lenormand getting his ideas? Well, in the chapter on race, he cites Arthur de Gobineau and his famous treatise, an essay on the inequality of the human races. This is, of course, a very, very famous racist treatise published in 1855, probably among the most influential racist works of the 1800s. Now, de Gobineau did see the connection between the peoples of the world and the biblical races a little bit differently. He did classify Ham as black rather than white, but Shem and Japheth were white people. And de Gobineau was firmly on Team Aryan, naming them the best of all the races and the whitest of all the white peoples.
It's all good stuff. The whole point was I wanted to get the myth. So it's bullshit. Anyone who's hearing this, anyone's watching Joe Rogan, it's bullshit. It's there is so much evidence that proves it's bullshit. Common sense, as Corey would know, 1800s, it's racist. I mean,
that's
so
right.
It's not like it's a long treatise or argument. You already said it. You know the time people were racist as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So you would almost assume that you'd have to prove they were not racist.
Yeah,
Didn't
that's
say
right.
racist shit is probably more like. But anyway, but the evidence is there. So that's what I want to say. Don't believe. And once again, these are modern day myths they're pushing.
Yeah.
And this shit supports racists. And like I said, even if their goal is actually to support Graham Hancock and his bullshit, trying to support his bullshit that came from this racist thing means you end up supporting racists by telling them, well, actually, they had biblical understandings of race. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway. So now that I got you all, calm and everything and soothed.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Well, because also it shows you why you do, even though you think like me, who the fuck needs to learn about Atlantis? Well, this is
Turns out
the shit that we need to learn because, and they're pushing this, and like I said, on top of that, racist is terrible. And then they're also hating and anti-science, and anti-intellectualism. And then also they're literally conning people. I mean, look at that. He goes on Joe Rogan and sounds confident as fuck, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's expressing himself as though he knows that he's right. For sure.
Right. So, it's fucked up because millions of people watch Joe Rogan. Like I told you before about me going on Joe Rogan. Remember? What did I say? Yeah. What bothers me is I'm not afraid to go on there. Fuck yeah. Shit. Anyways, I'm a sociopath. I'm not real prone to fear in general.
Right.
It's not a good thing, but I'm just saying.
It's not, yeah.
It's not a trait I generally so my point is because this is what I feel generally. I feel like just so people understand. For me, I feel like all my feelings and everything are just turned way down.
Yeah.
You can almost not hear them. That's why I seem so calm. It's because I just don't fucking care. Everything to me, my world is calm. Everything's turned down. Anyways, just saying. So my point is, just to make a point, I would go on there, and it certainly would help me get more fans, right? To be more known, whatever. So the reason I wouldn't go on there is because he is a fucking bigot, a transphobe, brings on racists, supports racists. He's all, fuck yeah, that's great. Yeah, get those fucking scientists, with your supporting racist propaganda. Yeah. It's gross as fuck. So that's what I was saying. It's what he supports, and I don't want anyone to think, well, Damien must like that or be okay with that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
So I told you, before I said no, then I said, you know what? If I can openly on that show tell him that he puts dog shit people on here and his ideas are fucking terrible, then I would go on. If I can't do that, then I would not fucking go on. So I figured, I know. See, so now they can't even say I'm fucking scared or something. I'm willing to go on. But I have to be able to say this openly in the show, not some night before, and they okay, between people, like, oh, I understand, and then act civil during the thing. No.
Right. No.
It has to be public. My statement has to be public, or I would never fucking go on there. Just saying. Because, he had that guy on there supporting racists in front of millions of people. Like he's a fucking expert.
And just lying, just saying false things right off, Well,
even you picked it up, but you couldn't even finish listening to him.
Yeah.
It's so irritating. It's long too. Good thing we didn't have the whole thing because it's long. They're putting down John Hoops and calling scientists scumbags and traitors and whatever the fuck. Maybe not traitors. I don't know, but just all kind of shit. Just told you, fuck. What the fuck? Here's these bigot supporters trashing scientists. Fuck. Anyways. You can see where that fucking would kind of get to me, especially since I know so much shit. It's like so fucking irritating. And then every time I hear Grant Honko talk or anyone talk about somehow everything circumnavigating the globe because all these myths or things are similar, I'm like, I have a naturalistic explanation for all of that.
Yeah.
And I worked really hard to make pictures and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
So your excuse is of ignorance. You know what's even crazier? I've actually showed that to people, and then those Atlantis Graham Hancock supporters will still tell me that I have believed the propaganda. I go, I literally explain to you, and I even say stuff that the archaeologists don't feel that comfortable about. Not like Graham Hancock. They just aren't sure about what I'm saying because they would have to do all the research to feel comfortable, just like I would. I've never. Sometimes people say things also in archaeology I don't know that I feel uncomfortable also because I don't know. I like to know from evidence. So,
right.
But anyways, my point is, but not the way they just like I told you before, just like Graham Hancock. Hell, they've shared my ideas. Like these are interesting. If these are right, then this would be amazing. Yeah, but Graham Hancock's they go, it's wrong. It's racist shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it like say it paints a pretty clear distinction between who's got evidence supporting their ideas and who doesn't, and who's got like whose ideas are then propping up other bad ideas, like
me, right? So let's just say you didn't believe any of my ideas. What else do I say? Totally support science. Well, fuck, that's good. Totally support human rights. Fuck, that's good. Yeah. Totally support dignity of everyone. Fuck, that's good. I support. I want children to eat and no bombs, end war. I mean, fuck, that's all good. I mean, so what the fuck? Yeah.
Yeah. So then, if somebody says, "Oh, but Damien's wrong about some of this ancient history stuff," you go, "Yeah, okay." But have you talked to him about it? Because he'll accept it if you can show him where he's wrong.
Totally. And I have, well, and I told you too, the two things that actually are weird to me, and I still, like you said, not like this moment, but in the future, it will bother me too much to not go find out.
Right.
Why does Siberia not have Milky Way beliefs? Why does Siberia not have clay beliefs? The clay beliefs makes more sense. The clay beliefs probably came from China, has to do with pottery. And also, if someone's from the sky, being from the land is a different concept. But the Milky Way, you're from the sky. You're sky god. Your stuff is sky. Why don't you have a sky thing?
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I would have thought for sure. I mean, like I said, even worse than the clay, because I do not understand why. I'm going to have to figure out what do they think? How do they think? How do they think they get up there? I do know that they do think. Speaking of that, I know more than some people. So I did watch a video of a shaman that talked about this. Speaking about Siberia, talking about but what he said is he was talking about like I can't remember if it's a person or if it's an offering to a dead person or it's offering to let the soul go to the dead or something. I can't remember exactly. Okay. But he said you stack the planks. 7 planks high because then you're in the spirit realm. And then the fire from that goes straight to the spirit realm and I think that what he didn't finish, because I couldn't talk to obviously he's watching a big thing. But that makes me think so are you saying that it's fire that sends them up? So maybe they don't need the star one? Or don't think they need one.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Maybe the star one's cool. We already have our way to go there. We just make a 7-layer fire, and we're in the heavens.
Right.
Because he did say that. Like I said, I know they said that. So I'm thinking, is that how maybe that's how? Because I was just going to the point is the other ones, the mythology is that people are going up there on the Milky Way in a sense, like a ladder or whatever, or a river. They call it sometimes a river, celestial river. I mean Milky Way.
Okay. And
also nut when the Milky Way kind of bends instead of going straight up when it's bending over. That's nut. That's the goddess. Basically, the Milky Way. Well, like we talked about this before. A lot of these mythologies, I do agree with. are probably just natural explanations that they didn't mean them as poetic. I think they thought that it was, because I heard someone say that they made a poetic thing and then later someone just assumed it was a god. No, I don't. That's not how goddesses got. Because to me personally, I told you before, goddesses I think are 12,000 to 10,000. Not sure exactly. Animals are 13 at least.
Right.
So they're first. It's just animals. There's no people as deities, I believe. Just animals. And they were probably totemistic animals or animals that represented creation stories or whatever, or themes. Like the snake, once again, a lot of times people don't understand the snake and the Milky Way can be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just saying, so all this stuff it is relative and helps you understand, but it does make me think, well, why doesn't certain cultures not have it? And so that's why I agree with you too. When you use real facts, then sometimes it doesn't come back where you thought.
Yeah.
Graham Hancock.
Yeah, that's right.
So you know what Damien has to do when he does, or any good thinker should have to do, is you have to come up with a new hypothesis or take new facts and then have a new hypothesis. No, Graham Hancock. I have the same hypothesis I had 30-something years ago. What the fuck?
Yeah. How's that possible?
I don't have the same one for 30 years ago. I fucking changed several times because I kept finding different facts and like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Because there was a time I didn't think. I thought, like the archaeologists say, I thought nothing was connected. I thought this was just, random stuff. But the more you read it, the more you go, this is not random.
Right.
No. And then you're like, okay, I'm sure this is not random. When you read, so especially like I told you, it's not just one myth that went over. If it was just one, nothing else matched, just one myth, like the flood or something, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
But it's the clay myth, the deities,
so much.
The male deities, the female deities, the beliefs in the stars, the beliefs in the heaven, the belief in afterlife, the belief in magical water, the belief in just do, humans from clay, the tattoos match. Remember I showed you plus the DNA also. I mean, it's just, there's so much stuff.
Yeah.
I'm confident. Look how confident as you could be off of facts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So when we talk about these myths, just like understanding Atlantis, for at least for me, I think like a mythicist in a sense. Not, it doesn't mean like there's someone who believes in them. It's more like a methodological approach to myths.
Right.
Like a philosopher. It's like a philosopher of myths. Not so much like some people like to psychoanalyze. It's not so much about that. It's more like what I do. It's very, very close actually to what I do. When you hear it, because we're going to watch one by a mythicist talk, who also doesn't like Graham Hancock or Jordan Peterson. He told Graham Hancock, fucking hilarious, because he always tries to be like me, I guess, super kind. He's actually maybe tries to be more kind to me, because sometimes you got to say, fuck that shit. Like racists can go fuck off, I can give a fuck if it hurts your opinion. Just like Mara told you, I saw someone put some shit comment, and I looked at their profile, and it says Christian nationalism, patriot, and then it said Nazi. I was like, block.
Yeah.
Fuck, I do not debate Nazis. You can go fuck off. Hey, you know what you need to do? Get a better ideology. I don't know, like don't be a Nazi.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm saying, so learning these myths, though, as you see, is important structure-wise. Is like they try to do, like everything's the same. I don't, like I told you before, I don't really do it exactly structured. Like, and that, because that's like a poem, like, it's a haiku. If you see a haiku, it's a haiku in a sense. But that, I don't care about that, told you. I care more about like a mythicist does. What you're going to hear was you care more about what the myths are doing. And this, like, we're not going to watch the whole video. He does say, I'd actually, a mythicist doesn't care about the details. And he goes, oh, I know everyone's going, what the hell? How can you be a mythicist and not care about the details? Once again, that's almost exactly what I would say, because you're looking just like them at the big things that are similar. Like every time they keep talking about the divine twins, everyone sees to have it. It's all over the fucking world. Yeah,
Right.
because all these myths were similar.
Yeah.
It has to do with duality and kind of like yin and yang, you know. And
Yeah.
one of them, and it dies, and one of them does a sacrifice. That's like half the world and has that, you know.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to me that with myths being all over the world, there's going to be like the big broad picture things like sky gods and whatnot.
Right.
They're gonna match up to some degree or another, but there are always going to be those little differences that make one region's myths unique to that region.
Totally agree. I agree. But so that's why I was trying to say to the person, say I was a colonizer mentality with how I view, you know, religion. And it's like, no, because to me, how I view religion, it's not any different. Everybody else is the one that keeps saying these are different. And I'm like, they're kind of not. They literally have like about 8 to 10 similar myths worldwide. That's not different. I hate to break the news to you.
Yeah.
And because this thing, like say a religion, they build it with all kinds of creation myths, like we're going to read, right? So when everyone is sharing those creation myths, are everybody really any different? The foundation of almost everybody's thing is these basic, simple things because it's not different.
Right.
And so that's why when they say, well, this is Western can have religion, but no Eastern can, I'm like, it's actually not different. You need,
yeah.
I mean, it's hard to, because I know I do agree how a lot of people who are, you know, say historians or even mythicists or even atheists or archaeologists or whoever can, in a sense, misterm or use something. I can also myself, okay, misuse or misdo a term, but
Sure.
I'm not misusing it here.
Right.
I'm already showing you it is a fallacy. That's why I was trying to get her to understand. I am not an atheist. In other words, to me, it would be colonial if I said, I'm going to force atheism on you and you have to remove your things, your beliefs. That would be some fucked up shit. Also, I think it's fascist, but to do shit like that. But
yeah.
But so that's the problem, right? Or if I said that, you know, the Christian religion is better, or the Hindu religion, or Islam was better, or whatever the fuck. Because like I told you, I actually say the opposite. That's why she doesn't. I say, actually, none of them are better. And if you're asking my personal preference, it would be animist only as a preference. Because I look at how they do culture, and I say, this guy tried to challenge me too, and I gave him a bunch more information about it. I'm like, you don't know who I am. All right. Of course I know that. I studied on that. So here you go. But anyway, so because about Africa, right? Because see, some people like talk about things, but they don't know depth of stuff. Oh no, I know a depth of stuff. I have looked a lot on the DNA, on the language, on the culture, on the religion, you know, on the people. Because that's also interesting to me with the people, how they organize themselves. You know, because as an anarchist, I care about that. So seeing these, because I said that I felt that animist only cultures are some of the most beautiful cultures in the world. Period to me. I mean, I feel personally, my own personal thing, that we should look at that and go, how can we do almost exactly that?
Right. Yeah. Where for sure, what can we learn and adapt from that to ourselves?
Oh my God, that is the fucking way.
Yeah.
Men and women are equal. Rape is almost unheard of, like not even documented, right? For years. I mean, it's just women can divorce and women can own property and children have rights and elderly are taken care of. Everyone eats, no leaders at all.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. That sounds like exactly
some of these cultures I got it pretty not right on.
and of course, personally, I like that they women and men can hunt, you know, and there's no, everyone takes care of the kids, you know, like it takes a village or whatever.
Yep.
It's just, I mean, I also told you I really like about animist only cultures, which I know I have to work on because I can be arrogant. It's my sociopath nature to just be an arrogant dickhead. Try not to be. But the fact that they are anti, in a sense, promotion.
Right.
Like it's viewed as like unethical or like
it's like a shameful act.
Yeah,
right?
shameful. That's the word.
Yeah.
Shameful. that they do. I can't remember what they call it. I think it's shame something maybe. I can't remember, but I mean that's what I should say. That is what anthropologists call it. Because
Right.
I need to like make sure, because I read stuff and I'm talking and I know other people have not read and they might just take what I said just as face value. Just like animism, no cultures say, yeah, I'm animist, or something.
Right.
I mean, that was an anthropology thing. Just like I told you, I think before, I would never have called it animism. I would have called it spiritism because that's more accurate.
Right.
That's like dead on to me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that in my book too, about how I feel about terms. Because I not that I totally disagree that terms, are not great, because they're not, and they've been used terribly, But also we are limited and have to use some things so we can fucking talk to people.
Yep, that's right.
So, but also I do agree that with people that say that we should expose what's going on, just like we did with the Atlantis, expose that. So. Go ahead and play that the myth thing real quick, because I think it's real good. And this is a mythicist. I think that he's very scholarly, just so you know. Obviously, being me, there's a few things he says in his videos so people know. I do support him. Check out his stuff. Follow him, whatever. He's cool. But some of the things that he says about his speculations, or whatever, I don't really agree. So we're not totally... So I'm just saying, I can still, and my point is, I can still appreciate someone who does a good job. It doesn't mean I have to agree that everything he says. There's a lot of people that will do something where let's just say 90% of what he does is pretty awesome. It's just some of the things he says that I go, yeah, that's not like this one thing he says about how snakes turn into dragons. I'm like, dude, no. You found two snakes with their heads cut off at the front of a cave. Okay. People cut the heads of snakes for no reason. I don't get how you can judge that makes dragons. Whoa.
Right.
Just me personally, I'm just saying that's one of the off the top of my head because I've watched several of his things. You should go watch him. You'll learn a fuck ton about myths. He's really super good on myths. I'm just saying, just wanted to make the comment that, that doesn't mean I am 100% saying whatever he says should be, totally
for sure.
Yeah. But most of it's good. So I mean, for someone who someone's focused on myths and I don't like myths, I think he does a good job.
There we go. Right. So, what is the difference between history, myth, folklore, and legend? So, it's quite a simple thing if you break it down into its core pieces. So, if a story has a non-human character in it, it certainly isn't history or legend. If the non-human character is the lead character, so that can include divine people or semi-divine people, like demigods, then it's probably a myth. So we sometimes find that folklore can flirt between the two, but that's worth knowing. So if you've got a story and you don't know if it's myth, ask yourself that. Next up is, where is the story told? So if the story is told in this world, then it is history or legend. But if it's on a different world, even if that world looks like our world, so we sometimes see a myth, it could be associated with particular places on Earth. It actually isn't those places on Earth because it contains either buildings or creatures that do not live on our Earth. So again, that's how you can distinguish between the two. An obvious one next is if it's historical or not. So if things are written pre-history, then they're almost certainly myth. Although we do find folklore written in prehistory, anything written in history is, well, history. And by that I mean anything that is written down at the time it happened is recorded history, or could be to some degree legendary because it could be written down in history but tweaked to exaggerate the parts of the story that the author wishes to exaggerate, to make him or the nation or the king look or queen look good. Next is Is it fiction or fact? Which would be quite obvious, which is that if it's fact, then it is history. If it is fiction, then it's definitely folklore. But if it's potentially a mix of both, and this is quite a grey area, it could be considered myth or legend. And finally, and probably the most important piece is it sacred or not? So if the story is sacred, so if it contains a god or demigods, then it can be considered a myth. And this is really important. So, and probably the key distinguishing feature that myths contain sacred truths. And they could potentially contain historical truths, but they will always contain a sacred truth. So truth about the demigod or god involved in that myth. So let me get my screen back. There we go. I saw a question come up. Slander and pass aside. I still like both Peterson and Hancock as human beings trying towards ideals, principles, everything. My opinion, sorry, I don't want to deal. That's fine. Howard, I'm not here to be derogatory to them. I think they both have good traits. So absolutely, I get that, and I'm here to say not make them look stupid. I'm here to try and allow people who listen to them to have more information to question what they're saying, and maybe even in certainly Graham Hancock's example that I'm going to give, maybe help him. In Jordan Peterson's, it's a very different game because we're talking religion, and religion comes with sets of beliefs which aren't easily changed if you're dogmatic about those religious beliefs. So yeah, that's no problem at all.
If anyone wants to check out myths, he goes into quite a lot of them. But like I said, I do feel that I don't think that always his logic is super great. So just like I told you, I mean, because I would not have come to the conclusion at all that he did. I would have just even like I said, how I would have done it. So his same evidence, how Damien would have looked at that, I would have thought, is there, not there is, as he stated. I would have thought, is there a relation with these two caves? Because they're in France. I would want to know, is the DNA the same? You know me. I would say, is the DNA the same?
Yeah.
Then if I couldn't or could figure that out, even if I did, because I told you, see, I don't like one line of evidence. That doesn't.
Right. One line can be wrong.
That could be wrong. You know, you're dead north. Yeah, well, it's left or whatever. Anyways.
Yeah.
So my point is, yeah, just to show you like how. So when I feel I'm confident, you know, there's a lot of evidence.
Right.
Damien doesn't feel confident. Just one thing. That would, like I said, two things. I would have thought interesting. I wonder if it's ritual related. I wonder if they do that because I would have thought more Milky Way, like I already showed you. I would have thought because I know snakes relate to water. See, you know, so I'm just saying, and he would kind of agree with that. It's just he comes up with different conclusions than me, of course. But so I would have thought dragon exactly. But it later, remember that water starts out as a water and then turns into a dragon. So in a sense, so they are related in a sense, and he knows, like me, that snakes and dragons are related. The thing that I disagree with is he doesn't know that they had dragon beliefs then. Right.
So he knows that something happened with the snakes, but he can't draw any conclusions about that.
And see, and I would say that I would have to look at it because see, I think, remember that the dragon beliefs come from Lake Baikal. Right. Lake Baikal people get to Germany. I think the earliest that they get there is 1700. Or no, 17,000. 1700. 17,000 years ago. Something like that. Maybe it's 15. So maybe it was because I think he says they're at 17. You see what I'm saying? So I would want to know what's the association. And I also want to know, did the caves have similar stone tools? Is there any rock art that's the same? You see what I'm saying? I would want to, does archaeologists already consider that to be the same cultures?
Right.
Now, if you find two caves and they're both part of the same culture, now you're seeing something interesting.
Yeah.
But if it's two different cultures, that's also kind of interesting, but it's less proof.
Right.
Then it could just be two accidents.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't point to that one particular explanation.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, right. So I feel like that. So I'm not saying he's a bad thinker, but because I think good thinkers can also make logical errors.
Yep, for sure.
So I just want it doesn't like that's all like I told you before. I don't, even though I know a lot of people care about people's IQ and all that. That's why I talk so much about reason. I don't think that you need to learn 50,000 words of logic to get. I think that's why I try to teach it simpler. I don't think it has to be. So, and I know that a reasonable person would never think they're never going to err logically.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
So, I have a meme that actually says that, and that any thinker that thinks this is already demonstrating error.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Literally giving me the demonstration. Thank you very much. You're right. We're always wrong. Okay. Can't be trusted.
Yeah, that's right.
No, so like I told you too, that's also why I told you I think it's really healthy to say when you're wrong openly. And it's not a big deal to not feel ashamed or whatever. I try to do it when I'm wrong. I try to do it because it's a good behavior.
Yep.
Because it allows, see, this is what people don't get. You know what that does? That allows truth to get in quick. Don't we want truth?
Yep.
But we want barriers to truth? What the fuck? That's why
you gotta be willing to be wrong. So
right. Well, and I post a thing often because I like to do that. Just keep repeating the same shit because it needs to be known until people can like recite it themselves. But I post who should win, the truth demonstratable in reality, or one of our egos.
Yeah.
Because I'm reminding people, you're not arguing with me. We should be arguing what is true.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is I feel like often you get into these games and comment sections where people are like, they're trying to get you. Mm-hmm. They've got you made this mistake you're not, or whatever, or you worded this incorrectly. And you go like, well, but the truth of what I'm saying is more real anyway. Like, I hate playing these gotcha games.
And I totally agree. Let's just assume once again, like let's assume that they're right, that somehow John Hoops could have made an error.
Yeah.
Okay. I can make an error too. That's not super impressive to me. But everything else he says is true, right? Well, yeah.
Right.
Well, then what the fuck? Because it's the exact opposite for Graham Hancock. Once in a while, that sucker goes ahead and tells you some actual truth.
Right.
But most of the time, you should have the volume off because you're being indoctrinated in ignorance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and they like to play the game of like, they like to move the goalposts, right? So then if one thing is true, then they'll be like, oh, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. Well, it turns out I'm wrong on that. Well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this.
Right. And so you just learned that not me, a more famous, because he has like 250,000 followers or something.
Right.
Well, because he talks about myths and he's nice to everybody. If Damien was
they
nice,
like that. Yeah.
If Damien was nicer, like that's one person said before. Could you just post atheist stuff? Back when I was on Facebook before I got off. Could you just post atheist stuff? And I was like, fuck off. I would post whatever the fuck I want. Because they don't like that I post so much political stuff. I go, well, then you mustn't be the wrong political person. Maybe you should get the fuck off my page.
Yeah.
Anyways. But I welcome, as long as you care about human rights. I told you, I'm willing to have people that I definitely disagree with. But if we agree on human rights, there's a place we could work from. If we don't, get the fuck off of my page.
Yeah, that's right. Or stick around and learn something, but don't interrupt me. Don't get in my way.
Totally agree with that. Yes, you should learn. Yeah, absolutely. follow the page and don't talk shit. How that's good.
Yeah, that's
good
right.
advice.
Follow the page and don't talk shit.
No, because I think that a lot. In fact, it's so funny that on Blue Sky, I think it was that someone had challenged me because they said, "What's my education?" And I said, "My education is I have a BA in psychology. Of course, I also it's a kind of a minor in sociology and kind of criminology and kind of I also had a little bit of teaching, and because I didn't really have a minor, I had a whole bunch of other stuff with psychology,
Right.
Because I was a juvenile delinquent and addiction, so I had like this whole like, so it's not really a minor, it's kind of like a whole bunch of other shit that I did plus this.
Yeah.
But and because the reason was because I was saying stuff on prehistory.
Yeah.
So he was
Yeah.
like, well, I obviously have no credibility, so he doesn't have to listen to me. I'm like, ha. What you should say is what I said true? No.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Do I have a degree to be able to?
If we can dismiss people based on their expertise, like then we can dismiss Graham Hancock. We can dismiss Joe Rogan.
Right to at least dismiss him.
We don't even have to look at what they're saying. We can just dismiss them.
Right.
But we don't do that. We actually we look at what they're saying. Is it true or is it not true?
Right. Just like I played the video, right? Instead of just saying that Dan Richards dude is a fucking scum because how he talks to fucking John and what fucking lies he says, and the lies in favorance of white supremacist propaganda. I would never want to be fucking associated with that shit. So I'm just saying, right? That's all I was saying too about being nice. See, the other guy would never say that kind of stuff. Just like
right, yeah.
His harshest thing to Graham Hancock was, Graham Hancock, you're wrong, and I am willing to take an hour of my time and teach you mythology. But I thought, oh, and it was kind of good though, because that put him like he's ignorant, which he is.
Yep.
And so, yeah. And then offering him a free session to learn when he tries to talk about it all the time, that's kind of classic.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's a pretty subtle burn, but it's pretty good.
A subtle burn, right? Okay, motherfucker, you've been talking 30 years about mythology. I'm willing to take an hour of my time and actually teach you.
Yeah, that's right. Pretty good.
So I did find that kind of funny. I was like, yeah, that's good, especially for him because he doesn't like to say anything controversial. Or me, you know, I have no fans because I'm controversial and just
even at the end of that clip, like he was kind of like talking about, well, I don't want to say anything bad about Graham Hancock.
I don't want to shame them.
Peterson. Yeah, I'm not trying to shame them, but they're
Well, because he's wanting to say they're idiots, but I don't want to make them out to be idiots and make them feel
that's
bad.
right. I don't want anybody to be like targeted by what I'm saying, but they're morons.
Well, that's exactly why he said, I'll give you a free hour of education, Graham Hancock.
Yeah. Jeez, eh?
So he's no Hancock supporter, which is good. See, I already, at least is. But I told you, his videos are pretty good. It's just, like I said, but, he has a right to make opinions. So,
Yep.
So, I'm not, as long as the opinions are somewhat in reality. See, so I do agree snakes eventually relate to dragons. I do agree that all that relates to water. I do agree that also relates to the sky, which I know to you now sounds all normal, but probably someone who just watched this and never watched any other video, like, what the fuck? Well, we did start with the Milky Way, though, to give you a hint. So, water, because they see these things, they think they're floating. So it's like magical water or something, Anyway, and that's what the creation stories explain how that happened. In a sense. So let's go to the creation stories because I think we're ready to tackle those. Oh, I do like your shirt, by the way. Indigenous lives do matter, and indigenous land should be given back. Just to go, since we brought up indigenous, I forgot. I should have said something about that. And just like we wrote, or we did blogs and videos on indigenous people and the two places that we live, especially in Florida and Saskatchewan.
Yep.
Because it matters. So
I got this shirt as a part of a fundraiser for the family of a young Indigenous man who was killed here in Saskatchewan. He and some friends drove onto a farmer's land, and the farmer took out a gun and was aiming it at them, and then there was some kerfuffle, and the young man got shot and killed, and and the perpetrator, the farmer, Gerald Stanley, he was I guess let off scot-free. He was charged with murder, but then he was found innocent by an all-white jury of his peers.
Well, I think also just like that thing that had bullshit in Florida. Remember when that is it Trayvon?
Oh yeah, Trayvon Martin.
Is that names, man? Not super great, but I think that's it, right? That in Florida where he was just walking with a bag of Skittles and a hoodie.
Yes, I believe that's
and
the
the
one.
person illegally stops him in the road and says, "I'm gonna, check you out" or something. And he's like,
"Yeah, George Zimmerman, I think, was the guy who shot him." Yeah.
Right. So he stops him, right? Which he had no right to do, and he had called the police or something, and they said, "Do not approach him." So I don't know how he didn't go to jail. I mean, it makes no fucking. I'm like watching, going, "What the fuck is this, Twilight Zone?" I mean. So you call the police and say, I think this person's doing something. And they say, do not approach, do not engage. The police do.
Yeah.
Then you go engage. Then the person starts kicking your ass. And so you pull a gun out and kill them when you were told to never engage. To me, fuck you. Yeah. That motherfucker should be in jail. What the fuck?
So you get to start a fight with an innocent person, and then when you start losing that fight, you get to kill them.
That's what I'm fucking saying. Exactly. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's fucked.
And here's the thing. As you know, to me, axiology, you do not have the right to kill someone because they punched you. What the fuck?
Yeah, no.
See what I'm saying? What the fuck? That's I'm not saying that you have to do nothing, but it has to me. That's like, well, at least to me, I told you, I am not a pacifist. Some people think I'm a pacifist because I'm totally about kindness and everything.
Right.
No, not a pacifist. I totally agree with two kinds of violence that I told you before: self-defense and other defense, the defense for other people.
Yeah.
Those two are absolutely justified to be violence. But I think it should be, in a sense, not just justified, like, if anyone ever touches me, I can just fucking, like I said, if anyone ever punches me, I can just immediately shoot him in the head. That I do. Damien does not agree with that. That's not measured. That's not reasoned. You know what I'm saying? And then also, do I limit it to how small you are? What if you're the child? If a child does it, can I still shoot him in the head?
Right.
Does you still stand your ground?
Is this a blanket rule that works all the time?
You see how it's absolutely, it's axiology. It's just absolutely fucked up. Because axiology, in a sense, is not a feeling. It demands, just like science, in a sense. You have to present reason. It has to be justified, supported. And just like I showed you before, there's a difference between reliability and accuracy. You could be accurate. In other words, you hit the point on something. But can you repeat the thing is the issue, right? Some people can hit bullseye. Bam, bullseye. Ah. Yeah, but can you do a bullseye 52 times?
Right. Can you even do it 2 times?
So you're not reliability, right? Do you get the point? That's why what I was saying before. If there's one thing, even if I think it's on the money, oh my God, that's got to be one thing is amazing. You cannot build a fucking thing from that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's only one thing because that's only accuracy. Of course, that's why reliability helps you see, is that really the thing though? Because what if you're accurate to the corner when you actually need to hit the middle?
Yeah.
Anyways, my point though, when these things have to work together, you have to have accuracy and reliability. And that's why, to me, you need more than one thing.
For sure.
It's like with me. How many myths have I showed you, right? We know that several different ones. It's not like, so the father and mother goddess, right? We also know that the flood bliss, right? We also know the clay beliefs. We also know that the weaving beliefs.
Right.
The weaving deities or whatever. There's also, which I haven't done a thing on yet, but fire deities. There's a big deal about old, like even the Aztecs, old god of fire. But I think it probably was a goddess to begin with.
Oh, okay.
In Siberia, they have I think that's 24 or 20,000 or something. But they have like fire pits with sometimes like, female figurines like in the ground, like next to or outside, or like almost like protecting it or something.
Okay.
So, and that's one, right? Because you can't just go away one, because that could be an accident. So
Right.
also Damien knows that there is the Korax that take 3 people, like the Trinity, 3 people to light the fire. It's a sacred fire lighting ceremony that involves this piece of wood that's shaped like a goddess.
Okay.
It has these 3 dots, and then you put these sticks in it, and you do it all at the same time, and it starts a fucking fire or whatever. I don't know exactly how to do it, so I didn't watch it. I seen
Right.
pictures. Just seen pictures. So just wanted to clarify. But my thought would be that, whatever, they're doing it all together in this thing. It's a ceremony, and they're worshiping like the deity of fire or whatever.
Right.
But like I told you, I think that a lot of the deities probably were spirits first,
Okay.
then became deities. So, and I think spirits, some could have been ancestors that then became great spirits that then became deities. Like the shaman in Czechoslovakia at 25,000 burial has a damaged eye. And then everything at 25,000 after it shows a lot of figurines with these eyes being covered in a sense. These like caps, beaded caps in a sense. So, and I think, and then later, that's a big deal. You always have things over the eyes for almost all shamans. Or maybe not all, but I don't know, 80% or something, like a humongous amount all over the world, like a whole bunch of versions, all doing the similar thing. Little strands or strangely things are covering their eyes. So, you're like, Korea, China, Japan, this, over in the Americas, over in Africa, over in Europe, over in, Asia or whatever, other parts.
Yeah.
They're all doing this. Like, oh, yeah, because it's an accident. No.
No.
So, like I told you how I trace it. I go all the DNAs and all the artifacts all along to figure out what these people are doing. Like a lot of people, they just look at all and kind of guess. No, I go bing, 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 and just follow, and then figure it out because I follow what they're doing. Because that's how I do it in a sense, which is the harder, longer way, but it's the better,
for sure,
accurate.
Yeah,
way.
because you have to track the timelines of DNA and the timelines of artifacts and the timelines of
culture movements and and sometimes animal husbandry also. Like I figured out where the chicken went. Starts in China, like I think it's top of my head, 7,000 years ago, something, and then gets to the Middle East. I think is it 4,000 or 2,000, or maybe it's 4,000. I think to maybe Middle East, and then maybe it's 2,000 to Europe or Italy. Anyway, the chicken, and then I think it's 1,000 something that it gets over to England, all the way over there. Anyway. Probably brought by the Romans, I would assume. But anyway, but I'm just saying because you can track different things. Like sometimes I'm not sure. Like I was saying about the caves, how I would track to the animals. Is that a natural animal path or something?
Right.
If they're hunter-gatherers. They're going to follow natural animal path. Maybe they would go to this one cave. It's near their migration path, and the other one's near a migration path. We're finding more evidence to support that they're related. See what I'm saying? I look for stuff like that. I don't just do one layer of thing. I want to find, because it also tells us, like when we look at some myths, like I said, the stuff should be all about sky beliefs, in Siberia, and then you find they don't have Milky Way beliefs. What the fuck? That's odd as hell. When everybody else does, like, what? So I'm just saying, because you start to understand, because you're actually looking at the data.
Right.
Not like making up, I don't know, mythology about it.
Yeah. You're not pretending it's some secret civilization that doesn't exist anymore.
It never did because it was a myth and there was no Atlantis.
Yeah.
Right on. So you open up to the creationist thing?
You betcha. Then we got a map.
Right. Now, this is a rough draft, just people know. A lot of stuff I take a lot of time and figure it more detail, you can tell this is kind of me going, yeah, I kind of know, so I just kind of off top of my head, sort of from what I know, in a sense. You get my point,
Right.
So I should have took more time, probably made it more accurate.
Yeah.
But also sometimes it's hard because I just don't care. Sometimes I just kind of like, especially myths. It's so hard for me to care about myths. They're interesting, but also like, yeah. But sometimes I do. It just because remember, no, like I told you before, it's not like anybody's paying me or anything. I just do this on
No,
top.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
sometimes I feel more or less passionate about what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which happens. I was just saying. So yeah, I'm not perfect. So I'm just saying this happens. So I was just like, see it on here. I know it's kind of confusing, but these red ones, the red circle is the most important because it's everywhere except Europe.
Right. Yeah, that's the ex nihilo.
Right. Do you see how that's that whole thing, and then it doesn't have it up there. But you notice the purple ones go across the whole north.
Right. Right.
Just trying to give you like a rough draft. And then you see the blue, which has to do with the Bible and stuff, really is not just the Bible, but it's a very small area.
Right,
I can't
right.
remember what that blue one is off the top of my head.
It says creation from chaos. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so this just gives you an idea that even though some like that's different, and the orange one, world parent, that's different. There's a few different ones, but that helps you too, because then you go, oh, that may actually be theirs.
Right.
Right. Like,
yeah, if it's only in a certain area, then they.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you go, okay, there are some things, but see, this is the problem about mythology. Those are clear Earth parents. There's some other things like in Native American that are
kind of similar.
So you start hearing, and you're like, damn, that's almost a world parent situation. So I'm just making a comment. So that's why I said this. I did not do this as accurate as I sometimes do. But this is still better, I think, than some people say, because they don't have any idea.
Right.
They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. At least I fucking have areas you can look at and kind of go, oh, some things are different, some are not, some are. Anyways, because I actually do know things. Of course, I also have a bunch of details too. But I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
But even then, I don't totally buy that some things aren't maybe in a few other places. All I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, that's.
But I'm trying to give you the most accurate understanding. I try to take like the 50 week college course and do like a 3-hour video.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
But so anyways, we'll keep going. But I just want you to understand that he's like the black. See how the black is it really only in the Americas?
Right. Right. Yeah, when
so that's probably theirs. So like the chick was saying, oh, everything in the Americas is their own. I'm like, okay, some of it is.
Some of it is. But also they share some of the ex nihilo stuff, and also they share some of the Earth Diver stuff. And
see, Corey's got it now. Look at but see, aren't you feeling more comfortable with all those concepts?
Yep, for sure.
Right. So I feel like this also helps bunk to Graham Hancock. First off, Graham Hancock, all myths are not everywhere. So that's wrong. So like, and that's also I want to make a distinction that yes, lots of myths are everywhere. Yes, that's evidence of people moving. No, all of the myths are not that way.
Right.
And no, everybody does not have the exact same ones.
Yeah.
And no, it absolutely in no way proves Atlantis or any other horseshit. In fact, it does the opposite. It matches the DNA like exactly.
Yeah, that's right. It is not like a matter of like you say, like the exact same myths all along this one place, and like they all developed it within the same, like, say, generation.
Yeah,
this is
no.
This is a very long time now. The DNA moved across everything and down the side, and
right, and it moved more than once, and that's why there are some variations that are in weird, like some here and way over here, because they went at different times from different places.
Yeah.
And so most stuff relates to two places, really. Lake Baikal, North China, and the Golden Mountains. That to me is one place.
Right.
Say North Asia, I'll just say. North Asia and Turkey.
Right.
These two places were all myths of the world, in a sense. The big ones that are the ones you see everywhere, not the ones that people just make themselves. Because once again, that's different. That's like I was trying to show that there are a few of those. Graham Hancock. Everyone does not have the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
But yes, there's enough to say, like I do, that religions are all related.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, it doesn't matter if you're in the Americas and you think that I'm a colonizer because I'm addressing the Americas. I'm like, I actually address the whole world.
Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. It's probably like, just still basically looking at your map here. Like, It seems to me that the crossovers explain some of the ways that certain regions have their own myths, but then they're adjusted and they are probably affected by the crossovers from other myths, and cultures affected each other.
Right. But as you also see too, that no one anywhere can say they are some pure anything.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Because or their own. Because wrong.
Because everything crosses over. Yeah.
This thinking that nothing was touching Africa is the continent of Africa is wrong.
Right.
Africa has blue, red, white. It's got several things.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of course Egypt is still Africa. Just people. So,
just reminding people.
Just saying. So that's with the blue, because you're like, well, the blue is barely. Yeah, well, it's still in Africa because that's still counts, the continent of Africa. Anyways, but yes, it's barely in, so it's not deep into Africa or anything. So it's barely an African culture because it's just a little rim right there.
Right.
But it still is. Anyways, so my point is, though, when you look at this, you just go, yeah, hating each other for beliefs is really stupid, especially when so many of them are the same thing or something totally fucking simpler or similar,
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. So bigotry is stupid, even of religions. It's just, to me, it's just error. It's just, and that's the same thing too. I'm not trying to, in a sense, shame people for believing. I understand. I was a believer for 35 years. And aren't I a smart person? How the fuck did that happen? Well, when you're indoctrinated, right? Yeah, people make mistakes, right? Yeah. And when you're indoctrinated and don't know any better, you're doing the best you can. I don't feel those people are, in a sense, bad people. I think that they've been indoctrinated. I feel for them.
Yeah,
they're victims from religion.
Yeah.
And even if people had, in a sense, wholesome ideas before, which I don't totally agree with, but even if they did, we know science now. So any religion that doesn't want to somehow integrate that science is accurate, I have a fucking problem with.
Yeah, that's right.
Just like I have a problem with Graham Hancock and his anti-science, or that Dan, Richards guy,
right,
who defends racist bullshit.
Yeah,
by saying it's not racist.
Silliness.
Yeah, that white supremacist nonsense. Yeah, that's actually not white supremacist. Oh, okay.
So when they keep talking about how good this race is over that race, like they're not being racist. Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll.
Yeah. Well, I can obviously not care about your opinion anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so go ahead and read the things it says.
Sure. So, yeah, I guess underneath it says, in creation from chaos myths, initially there is nothing but a formless, shapeless expanse, and this formless expanse contains the material with which the created world will be made. In creation ex nihilo, in which the creation is through the thought, word, dream, or bodily secretions of a divine being.
It's like that, bodily secretions.
Yeah. The earth diver creation, in which a diver, usually a bird.
By the way, that often bodily secretion could mean sperm.
Right.
They're not saying like spit or something or a turd. Although no, there is no.
Is that right?
There is a religion belief somewhere, because I remember and they believe people come from shit. I actually put them in the clay belief because I feel that's something close.
That's pretty close.
But I do make distinction. But this actually is humans from shit. So
Okay.
and I'm thinking, do you mean the white supremacists?
Yeah, that's right.
Because I may almost agree with that. They
That's
come
right.
from shit. Well, they certainly
That
think like
myth
shit.
might have some accuracy to it.
Like, wait a minute. Do we have the scientific chart for that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I might be able to be persuaded that racists and Nazis come from shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that sounds pretty close. Yeah, so I guess next is the Earth diver creation, in which a diver, usually a bird or amphibian, sent by a creator, plunges to the seabed through a primordial ocean to bring up sand or mud, which develops into a terrestrial world. In emergence myths, in which the progenitors pass through a series of worlds and metamorphoses until reaching the present world. And then there's the world egg, cosmic egg, or mundane egg, is a mythological motif found in the cosmogonies of many cultures that is present in Proto-Indo-European culture. And there are two types of world parent myths, both describing a separation or splitting of a prime evil entity, the world parent or parents. In the second form of the world parent myths, creation itself springs from the dismembered parts of the body of the primeval being.
Right, and so you see where it says the second one. So that shows you that in a sense there's two types of myths. This is
right.
Important. But so just understand, this is literally, I don't know if it's 100%, but it's something close to it. High percentage that every religion in the world can be explained inside of these basic. Yeah, like the beginning, the creation. I'm just saying, which is crazy. And then you understand, like I do, well, no, because that's just culture. And of course they went, their stone tools they share. They're all everything else they brought with them, right? Yeah, they brought everything too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 myths that
that
encompass basically every religious belief system.
Right? And then, you see, then you understand that. So it's not right to say they're all the same because they are different. But as I told you, when you start going deeper, a lot of them relate to water. Then you're like, whoa, fuck, that might be 90% are relating to water. So that's
right.
That is the one mono myth in a sense, which tells you it likely came first to me or something, or you know what I'm saying? Because it literally, or it was the most strong in a sense. Like, I don't agree with like Dawkins when he tried to talk about why people believe mythology.
Right.
Because I feel like, once again, like when people try to tell me, well, I just do history, Damien. You talk about, other stuff like, politics, or I'm like, okay, the person is political. There's no fucking such thing as not being political. You just are unaware or uninvolved. But that does not mean that politics are not literally, put it this way, until you're all by yourself, there will always be a state where politics are being involved. Because if there's one other person in the world, then you guys got to fucking work together.
Exactly.
Or discuss or not harm each other, or, whatever, make boundaries.
Determine a method of living together. Yeah.
Right. And that's politics.
That's
so
right.
Fuck off for the people that think that, like I told you before, I think it's crazy when they think like somehow they're better than they expect. Well, I don't do politics. As if somehow I should be ashamed for doing it and they should feel glorified for not doing it. Let me tell you something. All that does is allow more people to listen to your channel. And I'm not saying that doesn't have a value. It does.
Right.
Certainly, if you remove, like with me, if I removed all politics, more people would know Damien's great and learn stuff that is great, not just that I am, but that the stuff I'm teaching you is great. So you can grasp how this, and then like I said too, I don't know how you could learn all the stuff I know and then come to the conclusion, well, God must be real.
Right.
It just
Yeah.
no
Doesn't work.
fucking. In fact, none of it is real. Or like I said, only other thing I can understand. If we look at all this evidence, Corey, I would not get that indigenous people somehow have a corner on religion that's special, and I have to treat it different than all other religion. I don't
Right.
agree with that. What I would say is you look at everything, and I would say what the truth is under all these things are similar myths. What it tells me is we are all the same. Look
Yeah.
at, we have 7 billion people that can be explained by 6 main myth things.
Yeah.
We're not different, people. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, to me, in a sense, even if you don't want to come to the atheist conclusion, fine. I really hope that you just become an animist then, because then you're the safest for me.
Yeah.
And sound the most like a reasonable person I could agree with on that stuff is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because saying we should care about the whole world because we're all connected and everything, that stuff sounds good, even though I know it's not exactly correct the way they're saying it. I do agree it's correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all should care. Man, we fucking matter. I wish that people cared more. I wish that people fought as hard. Sometimes it's like how I see sometimes these politicians on either side. Or sometimes even anarchists will defend shit that an anarchist a long time ago said that it's not good. And they'll say it, well, but you have to understand. No, just like listening to, what's his name? Dan Richards. Sit there and tell us why it's the people back there. We just need to understand them, Corey. Donnelly wasn't really racist, because back then everyone was kind of racist. So let's just give him a break and it's not be hating. And so then, because we're going to give him a break now, right? Because that's not a reality back then, right? The Dan Richards model. It's a reality now. That almost could be good. Okay, let's forget the past. But what you're doing is saying, let's forget the past so we can attack John Hoops, the scientist, and other archaeologists that explain these things accurately. Let's not see. So then, it's no good. He's trying to be like he's some kind of culture hero or something, saving the world from John Hoops. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. And I do think that, like I said, John Hoops is actually nicer than I would be.
He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. Don't fuck with me like him. You fucking make shit of me, I will come fucking back at you. You better fucking believe it. Once again, I believe in self-defense. So yeah, I'm nice and to the point that you fucking punch me, I will hit you.
Yeah.
Fuck off. I may not sit there and keep hitting you, if there's not necessary. That goes back to what I was saying about, can I just shoot somebody? That's why like I told you, that's why a long time ago, Corey, and I've been talking the whole time about stuff people don't like to hear, which is axiology. And there's like a person I explained. This one person goes, "Okay, Damien, I'll give you time, and you just tell me the whole thing of what you is, because I feel like you always try to say, people always interrupt you. Just tell me a thing." So I talked to him about 45 minutes about what I think about axiology. He agreed it was great after 45 minutes.
Right.
But he said, "That's too complicated, Damien." He goes, "Just tell people you do morality." And I said, "But see, then you would miss how important axiology is."
Right.
Because morality doesn't help science. I mean, it helps them be ethical, maybe, but I don't know that. But if you mean axiology helps you grasp what is and what is not truth, what is and is not a fact, what is and is not accurate.
Yeah.
It's the foundation of how you make judgments. A lot of them you make all the time, and they sometimes are reasoned.
Yeah, that's right.
And hopefully you do axiology to realize they are reasoned or not. I mean, that's like I said, look at Dan Richards talking the bullshit about racist. You already know it's wrong when you start with the defense. He didn't start with facts. He started with the defense. Well, you need to understand they're old time, religion thinkers or whatever. Whatever nonsense.
Yeah.
So you already no. No. That's like I don't buy that cultural relativism. Well, rape is bad, Damien, but in their culture, I'm like, wrong. Rape is bad. You started right.
Yeah, that's right. And then you veered off.
Because then you went off of axiology. Because like I said, does a person own themselves, Corey? well, then they certainly have a right to not be raped.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's automatically a moral harm.
Yep.
Anyways, especially because since axiology understands, I've told you before, which we'll do one. I would like to do one of these times, a whole video on philosophy and explain, like I said to that guy, what axiology, especially about morality, because it's the most useful. I should take it back. I like it all really, but because it's useful for all kinds of thinking. But I mean, it's super useful for morality, which everyone seems to not get. And I think that axiology does it in a sense a simpler way. It's like complex but simple, because it's just the same bing, 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 and then you end up with the result. Bing, 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 result. Bing, 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 result.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess it's hard to learn how to do that. But once you can do that, it is easy as hell. Right. Because then it's just like, it makes sense. It's like logic. Bing, 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 bing. It's always, 1 + 1 = 2. It's just, or whatever. It doesn't go 1 + 5,
Right. Yeah. And if you find that 1 + 1 = 5, then something went wrong, right?
Right. Something's wrong. Yeah.
You know that it's a
user error.
Yeah. You know that something went wrong.
So that's why going back to, you asked the question about and the other thing, and I know sometimes it's hard because of my personality. My brain jumps around. I told you it's real fast, so it's like jumping around thinking. But you talked about, axiology morality in relation to other moralities. And I told you it's so hard because, especially how I do axiological morality. I'm not saying my way is the only way to do axiology morality, but my way is I try to, as take really complex things and make them simple, because then they're useful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to me, I break things into a thought process of like weighing things. And there's two things that I weigh in a sense. And it's kind of like fight or flight, right? That's one type of thing, of action. Then there's another type on the other side that people don't talk about. But they both happen. But one's, just so you know too, in psychology, I was taught that this side's the male side, generally, or a more male persuasion, fight or flight. That you either fight people or you get scared and run. Fight or run. That's it. You don't, right? That's a male persuasion. The female persuasion or tendency, because of course males can do this too, and they also do this even in war, is tend and befriend. That when you cannot fight, then you think you can't beat them, join them, in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's okay. I have to survive the best I can. Like I say, I'll go ahead and vote Democrat, but not because I actually want that. It's just I'm trying to tend to befriend and fucking survive as an anarchist, and I want the least fascist that we can hope for. And if this is the only option is shit or fascist, I'm gonna choose shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I'm saying that I think it's good. And it's not, I think it's shit because it was a woman or a black person that actually would have made it better for me. I was like, cool. But no, it's actually this supporting of this fucking war and genocide and fucking, totally cool with letting some people off of drug offenses, but not all of them. Yeah. I'm just making a point.
Deep ties to the corporate capitalist structure and all that stuff.
Capitalism in general. Yeah, the whole thing. So, but axiology would tell me that there is still a difference. That's why when people some communists that I just so you know, I told you before, I really feel like I'm not 100%, but I mean a lot of stuff me and the communists are, until they start worshiping leaders and hierarchy, like whoa, no. Yep. But when they don't do that, almost. That's what I told you too. The real values actually aren't worshiping these dictators.
Right.
That's not the real values. They do that like the Graham Hancock people are doing. They do it to somehow support that their choice of a style is okay, as long as we just don't worry about these dictators.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, it's a similar type of thing, I feel. But as far as like what they want, that's always I don't know why you're in any argument with me. This one guy was Marxist-Leninist because I posted this thing where this person had said that socialism needs anarchism because it needs people to remind about the individual's rights.
Yep.
And I thought, I can agree with that.
Yep.
Yes. Totally.
As evidenced by history.
Yeah, like that's not even a debatable point. I
Yeah.
feel like I was like, so I posted it because I'm like, yeah, it's not a debatable point. It's a fact.
Yeah.
And so,
So naturally, a Stalinist argued with you.
yeah, and tried
Because,
to
yeah.
tell me that he first tried to tell me we don't need anarchists. And so I posted to him some Leninist quotes that were anti-state, because I'm trying to show him that actually your position is more shit than you think.
Yeah, that's right.
Not only could it be like Corey said, can we just show you history has proved that is so fucking true, it's not even funny. Even your own people that you worship, and I do not, like Lenin.
Yeah, that's right.
He
Even
agreed.
Lenin disagreed with you.
See, you get it. I told you before, even if I buy your argument, it's shit. Because even Lenin is telling you're a Marxist-Leninist. Great, wonderful. Lenin said, fuck the state. And that I agree.
Also, Marx disagreed with you. Also, come on now.
I don't know that, but good. I'm glad you know that. So my point is, so once you know these truths, even like I was saying about that, it changes. I told you, like some people feel like they're constantly toxic to people that are not like them.
Yeah.
If that makes you feel good, okay. I don't feel that is productive.
Right.
My goal is that I help change people. And I know that it helps to be kind. That's why I try to be kind. But like I told you, to a limit. When it comes to Nazis, fuck that shit. When it comes to fucking racists, I'm sorry, your fucking feelings get hurt. Fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
I'm too old to be playing games with people that are in this to fucking be bad faith and toxic. Like I'm not interested.
Other people, I try to be reasonable people, usually not like that. I am more than willing to talk to.
Yep.
And like I told you, I am willing, and I told you now that before, I am more than willing. Anybody who wants to come and debate me or challenge me, you can do it live on Corey's channel. Set it up with Corey. And so far, I've offered that to like 3 people, and all of them said, no, thank you.
I haven't received an email yet.
So because they think they're going to sit there and get me to talk for 3 days online, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, no, that's right. Like, yeah, this is why my block list or mute list is growing on all my social media, because people they come with these expectations that I'm going to debate them in the comments section or on Twitter or whatever. Right. And I'm not interested in it.
Right.
I'm not here to play gotcha games.
That's it. And if you just keep on going,
then we're done.
Life.
Yeah, that's right. I have shit to do. I'm not going to sit here and debate you while you move the goalposts over and over again.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I told you before, I don't even care about winning. I'm not interested. I'm interested in teaching. I know a bunch of stuff, as you know, and I would like other people to become enlightened. Because I feel once you're enlightened, would you ever fall for Atlantis? Once you're enlightened, would you ever fall for that Atlantis was not somehow related to white supremacy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's right.
Once you know this shit, how can people bamboozle you? You know, if someone goes, well, hey, Corey, what do you think of Graham Hancock? Corey's like,
think he's full of shit. I don't know what to tell you.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why I want to enlighten people. That's my goal, because I care. I got, like, a long time ago, why I became an activist, I told you before, is I realized I have this ability. I actually didn't really know. When I was a truck driver, like you said, you do manual stuff. When you do manual stuff, you don't think that much different because I don't have to. I'm like, and I have to focus on what I'm doing. So I just kind of in other words, to why capitalism is terrible. Here I am, this person that could do fuck ton of stuff. Imagine if I was supported and gave money and whatever, and time, people helping me and working with me, to get the stuff out or whatever. I know if shit that should have happened. Didn't. So I'm working and I have no time because what do you do when you get off work? I'm fucking tired. I don't want to do anything. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So capitalism itself is anti-revolutionary.
Yeah.
Because it keeps you in a status so fucking exhausted. You can't fight back. You don't even desire to. You just want some fucking sleep.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so, and I know I used to work 80 hours a fucking week. I'm telling you, fucking hate it every minute of it. And people will be like, no, I work 40 hours. I'm like, man, I work double that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, yeah, that's why, like, because my work is 7 days on, 7 days off. And that's why on my week of work, I don't really exist except for the odd post on social media.
Right.
And the week that I'm off, I'm constantly busy trying to do this other stuff because this is I need a balance to my life, right? And that's
what I'm trying to say is that what happens is it makes it so you can't. Yeah. And even the greatest, best person is too exhausted, tired.
Yep.
But then to people with wealth can all the time to either do it themselves, which they usually can't. So they hire someone because they have money who can then take their time and do, work against us and come up with, I don't know, bullshit like Ignatius Donnelly wasn't a racist.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, the fuck he was.
Yeah. That's right.
Like, I don't know. What the fuck? Quit making up mythology.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, I often wonder, like, I have, like I say, 7 on, 7 off. I'm very lucky with that balance. Most people are working 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and then they have, their last day of their week. They're doing like their chores around their house. They're catching up on cleaning, making food, buying groceries, all the odds and ends that make life livable. And you go like, well, how do you have, like, where's your time? What do you actually like have time to do? How do you exist? Where do you exist?
Right. And so that's also why I do not attack people that are less political than me.
Right.
Or unless they're, once again, if they're bigots against people. That shit I never tolerate. Wrong. We're not going to, my opinion is almost with Nazis. I don't debate human rights. Nope.
Yeah.
I will not listen to your fucking nonsense why trans people don't have rights. I won't listen to it.
Yeah.
I know you're wrong. Change.
Exactly.
That's it.
You cannot come to me and say feminism is cancer and expect me to engage with you.
But if someone said that to me, I'd probably just block them.
Yep, that's right.
That's probably my first response is, oh, fuck off.
You're a waste of my time. Like, goodbye.
Yeah. So, yeah. But like I said, for me, I don't have to get, that's going back to, I feel like in a sense, an anarchist or an axiologist, which I think in some ways is kind of similar, because if you accurately look at the world, anarchism becomes the truth. If we can't trust power to be anything but always corrupt,
then why do we
let's fucking give no one power. What?
That's
is
right.
that not the fucking solution?
Yeah,
what?
Exactly.
How is that not the fucking answer?
Yeah.
Then no one should have power. Fuck, there's the answer. Oh, fuck. Why are we not doing that? Wait a minute. The animist-only cultures in Africa are doing that. Oh, and their cultures are beautiful. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What are we doing wrong? We're civilized? Yeah. Don't we have to have something to prove that? Good people or like kindness, shit that matters?
Yeah, like you read like people who talk about these sort of things and they say like the way you judge a society is how it treats its most vulnerable, right?
I can agree with that.
And you look at the way that we treat in modern capitalist societies, how we treat our most vulnerable, and it's not good. Like we're not enlightened, we're not civilized.
No, it's fucked up. It's terribly. I remember when I was in California, when I was a poor person. I'm not saying I'm still not. I actually personally am poor. I have nothing. My wife has everything. If she left me, I would be fucking fucked. But that's not why I'm with her. That's not why I'm with her. I'm with her because we actually care about each other. But,
right.
I'm just saying, and yeah. Anyways, I'm just making a comment.
This is the case. Yeah.
Before I was working, I had my own money. Now I've not worked, since a truck accident, and I couldn't work anymore. Which I don't know exactly when that happened. I know the truck accident was way before, but eventually it caught up to me because I kept working.
Right.
Because of capitalism. 3 months after work, I couldn't barely walk. And I had the doctor sign me into work because I'm like, I'm going to fucking die here.
Yeah.
Who the fuck can go 3 months without a fucking paycheck? I can't. Who the fuck can do that and then live?
No, that's right.
No.
You hear stories about people who have they go 6 months or a year without a work permit if they come to Canada or the UK or America, and you go well, how did you live? Well, I worked under the table.
Right.
They
That's
did
immoral.
whatever.
Axiologically, that's fucking immoral. How the fuck is that okay? It's not okay. What the fuck? They should have a fucking visa. Of course, I don't believe in fucking
right. Yeah,
borders
exactly.
or fucking fences or any of that bullshit. You know what you should do? I know it's crazy. Here's a thought. Refugees, you help them.
Yep.
Right?
Huh.
I mean, humans in actual fucking desperate need, right? This is what to me is so crazy. If we have a fucking storm, right? Hurricane in Florida, they will go, crazy to try to help every fucking person, rescue them, right? Even though it's capitalism, that capitalists are crazy because at that point of a human catastrophe, that's nature, they might help more than likely. I mean, it's more, well, not always, but more likely.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. But when it comes to still also a human catastrophe needing fucking help, and you're like, yeah, fuck off. You're not from our country.
Right.
What the How the fuck can you in your brain make that okay? See, axiologically, you can't, because I told you about axiological morality. It has things once you get to this thing, it doesn't lose its status.
Right.
This is what reminds me of morality, why it's so different in a sense axiologically, because we attach morality to the person,
right?
Not to So you asked me about utilitarian. Utilitarian attaches it to a concept, the greater good.
Right. Yeah,
what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But axiologically, we attach it to the being.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why I said sometimes it could be just one person does matter for the whole world.
Yeah.
But axiologically, because it doesn't, that's why I said I could, try to go back and forth, but it would have been way too long to answer. Because axiology is so different. It's just easier to say, just forget all that and start again.
Yeah. Fair.
So in a sense, I was telling you about axiology mind. It's moral fear and moral love. So moral fear is fight or flight. Moral love is tend to befriend. Moral fear is justice. Moral love is compassion. So there's a balance. Justice and compassion. Sometimes you don't do justice because of compassion. Sometimes you do justice because it doesn't deserve compassion. It's a balance. You understand, but they're both not great. We start axiologically understanding the desperateness of our actions in a moral sense. It's like you're walking on eggshells or glass. Could break. You need to approach it because isn't it morality? Won't most people say the most important thing is morality, yet they act like it doesn't matter? Fuck all.
Yeah, that's right. Then they live in ways that show.
You live in ways that do you even believe in morality? Because what the fuck? Your behavior is fucking awful.
Yeah.
You're thinking, fuck, how you treat others. That's why I try to treat others online. Why do I treat other people kind online, Jorge? Because did they earn it? Did they deserve it? See, as an axiologist, I know that it is my behavior that matters.
Yeah.
Not yours. In fact, my behavior can be so powerful, it can contradict yours.
Yeah.
Which has happened. And this has even happened to people have done this kind of a thinking that I, in a sense, was explaining, even in a time with a serial killer. they'll talk to them in a way that humanizes, because they attack what people don't grasp. Everyone does axiology, even animals. Thinking beings, thus moral beings, are ones that do axiology. Axiology isn't just moral. Like I said, every action where you value it, you're judging it, you're looking for accuracy, you're assessing its valuableness, its worthiness, its beneficialness, its goodness. All these are axiology.
It makes me think of a story I just read about a guy who was being mugged by knife point. And he gave the guy his wallet. He's like, I'm not going to resist or whatever. And then as the guy was walking away, he said, actually, it's pretty cold out. Do you want my jacket too? And so he gave his mugger his jacket. And then he said, actually, I was just going out to dinner. Let me treat you to dinner. And his mugger goes with him to dinner, and they sit and they eat together and they talk. And eventually this mugger like gives him back his wallet so he can pay for the dinner. And like they have a human connection that is because they didn't, he didn't confirm that negative impulse. Right.
Right. Well, I totally agree. That, like I said, I even have a blog, right? Because I tried to show people. I talked about dignity before. We're not going to get all into it right now, but I have videos people can go watch and blogs that explain it. But that's the point that I had a person I wanted to show. So because I can, so I thought, oh, okay, I have time. Someone told me to fuck off, and I said, okay, can you explain why I should? And then I held them accountable, which is the ontology. The thing I'm asked qualities, attributes, details. That's right. You can't, because to me, axiology is your last thing. You start ontology. What is it we're talking about? I can't assess it if I don't even know what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I find out what we're talking about.
So what do you mean when you say fuck off?
Right. Right. So well, you're right. That's ontology, exactly. But it's also to me a non-emotional response.
Right.
And if you keep giving non-emotional responses, because I can do that intentionally, knowing that they're effective. And then also what I do, I told you before, because I do more than just that. I do other stuff, in which I talked about before too, about how I do dignity attacks or dignity enrichments.
Right.
And a dignity enrichment is when you validate someone. And I'll do this. I'll actually validate someone who is being horrid. I'm like, I can see you're learning. I can see you're open. I'm speaking to what they're doing.
Right.
Thank you for asking your question, even though the question is pretty dickish. I go, thank you for asking the question. I really appreciate, that you bringing this up. Or you start to side with them. It's also using a dignity enrichment. I can really see your position on that. I think different because you still show them they're wrong.
Right.
But I connect with you. And so what they hear, though, it also matters like timing and how you word things. Like in sentence, start with the positive and then bring the negative. Don't start with the negative because then they stop listening.
Right, right.
But anyways, there's a whole bunch of ways. I won't go into all stuff, but
for sure.
But it's not what this is about. But I'm just trying to explain that there's a way of doing things. How you mold things totally influences everything.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the axiology also, besides what I said about two things you're weighing all the time, because when you violate one, you violate the other.
Right.
There has to be a give and take. It's not so that also when you understand that makes it more like special and more like careful, dangerous. Mm-hmm. Because if you give too much compassion, you are harming justice.
Right, right.
Do you see when you start seeing it that way? It's like, because your thought would be like some people, not Damien. Oh, I just constantly love everyone. Just give compassion only. Well, then you are accepting the violation of justice can continue.
Yeah. It's like it's that paradox of intolerance, right? Like, in a sense.
No, that's not okay. No. There's some shit that we absolutely. That's like I told this one guy because he said, "Oh, I guess everybody on the left, you can't have an opinion that's different." I go, if you mean opinion is different about bigotry, there is no difference. Most
Right.
of us are on the same fucking page that are leftists.
Yeah.
If you talk about how we're going to get a society that does that, now that may be different.
Yeah. There's lots of different views in that.
But as far as our values, that's why I said, that's what I meant. You know, I think of values. So when I talk like, say, I'm like a communist, I'm also obviously an anarchist. So I'm not a communist. But what I'm not talking about their political idea, I'm saying values.
Yeah, that's right.
When they say that the worker matters, fuck yeah. And they say capitalism's terrible, fuck yeah. When they say that governments suck dog shit, hell yeah. There's too much wars, too much hate, too much ignorance.
Imperialism's bad.
Yeah,
You got
it. Yeah. But when they say the solution is, that's why I explained it to one person that keeps shut up. But that's why I think I sent it to you too, where I said that to me that we're the same, but their solution is hierarchy is bad. Let's do more hierarchy. Eventually, we'll end up with no hierarchy. And I said the difference is my solution is no hierarchy. That way, we end up with no hierarchy.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's what I see here, that I feel the difference between an anarchist and them. Theirs is let's do some sort of classism so that we can end up with no classism. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. That doesn't even
Yeah.
sound good. How do you get classism as good so then no classism?
You can't. You can't.
No. Anarchist is right. No hierarchy, no classism now. Like, remember that, like segregation. Segregation today, segregation tomorrow, right? No hierarchy today. That's what the anarchists would say. No hierarchy today, no hierarchy tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I certainly don't think, yes, hierarchy today, so then maybe no hierarchy tomorrow. And I'm like,
yeah.
That's not a winning.
That's right. And I've explained this on other things. Like this is the unity of means and ends. Like that's what that is. You cannot achieve a stateless anti-hierarchy society by utilizing a state that imposes hierarchies. So you just can't do it.
Let's explain it axiologically. I'm going to reach my axiological perfection, which requires me to not only the things I already said to you, it also requires that I understand there's three states of reality in a sense. Like there's, the past, the present, and the future, right? All these things are constantly affecting, right? This is one thing that I think that some people have a problem. They don't look at the past. They just look at now and go, oh, look, this is how it is. I'm like, did you see where it came from? Fuck.
Yeah.
Like, why is now bad? Because before was fucked. That's why.
Yeah.
Anyways, but my point is, so you cannot, right? You cannot do a now only, no past understanding. That is fucking ridiculous. Every person has an influence, like a child. You see them doing bad things, right? Your first thought should not be, what an evil child. Your first thought, have they been abused? Mm-hmm. Are they being nurtured and cared for correctly? Because they seem to be acting out like they're not getting that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, well, that looks like a bad child, let's put him in jail. Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
So they need help. You agree they need help. So let's not help them. Let's hurt them more. How does that make sense? That's why I feel like the solution of, well, Damien, if we don't like hierarchies, we just need a better hierarchy, and then eventually we won't have them. Like, So don't use axiology, and then not using it will eventually use it better.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that sound right to you?
It just doesn't work that way. You can't do
that. That does not fucking compute. And here's the thing. Okay. And in 100 years, has that happened? Is it even close to happening?
Nope.
Is it further from happening?
Yes. In fact, it is.
So power keeps centralizing.
Yeah.
The thing that anarchists fucking hate. But see, this is the thing. it's not like, at least for me, it's not like some abstract bullshit. Like I said about like the utilitarianism. Well, I'm just abstract, humanity as a whole, where we don't even actually see the people suffering.
Yeah.
Just axiologically. See, we live in a lie. Let me just break this down for you. We're already fucked up, okay? Because let's just say Unitarianism or whatever is nonsense. Okay? Did I make it plain enough? Axiologically, every person's morality is like a radius in a sense. It starts at Corey. Who does Corey have to care about the most? Damien's family or Corey's family?
Well, I guess in theory it'd be Corey's family.
Correct. See, you get this. Axiologic, but see, you get very quickly, but isn't that just how we do things? And I go, that's why axiology is true, because that is exactly how we do things.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're not adding an abstract. We're explaining a fact and then how to utilize that fact for better reasoned thinking to end up with better morality or whatever, better accuracy, better, benefit. So you get that, but it's totally true, right?
Yeah.
In other words, a famine hits your town. How many people do you have to do and not care about your family? Utilitarianism, right?
Yeah,
Don't
that's
care
right.
about your family eating because that would be selfish, Corey. There's other people in the world that need to eat.
Yeah.
This is what you talked to me before about feeling guilty as a leftist for having stuff or whatever. Because of course we don't. We're like the bottom of fucking capitalism, and we feel bad for like having a coffee.
Yeah, that's
sugar,
right. Yeah, that's right.
I had tea with honey, goddammit.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, no, I don't think that, but I'm a sociopath too, so that makes it easier. Not to fuck what people think. But anyways, so you get what I'm saying about morality. So, and guess what? It goes out even from that. What's Corey's next thing? Well, it would be so think of it this way. Do you think now you'd feel more moral weight if I was harmed than some random other anarchist even in America?
Yep, for sure. Yep, for sure.
Why, Corey?
Emotional attachment, probably.
Right. So your axiological thing goes from your family first, right? Yep. And then the next one is friends or close whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe people at work, close people that you feel an emotional connection to, whether or not you get my point.
Yep.
And then it goes out more than that. You probably have a feeling for your neighbors that you don't even know because they're in Saskatchewan where you're at. Yeah. And you see them every day. So if they got harmed, you would feel a little bit more than you would have a random American or whatever. You get my point when I'm saying, because that's really what morality is, Corey. It's just layers of eventually it's the whole world. But when does the whole world become? Last.
Right.
That's a reality. Last. And everyone acts this way because otherwise I'd be poverty, right? I would be total poverty, just give all my money away because I'm being asked constantly to help, and I would like to help more people.
Yeah.
Right? But if I did that, I would be in total poverty. Does everybody have to be in total poverty? Is that the way to go? No, it's not the way to go. We actually should not be in poverty. Actually, what we should do is actually not even attack each other, but the rich bastards, like the fucking billionaires that fucking are stealing from all of us. And certainly, even if they weren't, let's assume they weren't, they're hoarding wealth.
Yeah.
Right? But what I mean by that is, are they giving it to the humanity back? No. So fuck that.
Exactly.
So either, because axiologically, if you have the means and you do not help, you are not a good person.
Right.
Axiologically, it's fucking say if you have the means and you don't fucking help, you're not a good person. He has the means, the time, the method, anything you can fucking think of other than greed. There's nothing stopping him from fucking stopping child hunger worldwide.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't want to help in all other ways, ethically, once again, axiologically, the most vulnerable, the children, anywhere, they should be protected. No child should live in fear. No child should be without food. If you have a problem with that, my answer to you is fuck you. I mean, I told you before.
Yep.
because of course I feel axiologically that's not going to change. 50 fucking years from now, 100,000 years from now, children deserve to be protected and cared for. Period.
Yeah.
All of them. The whole fucking world. That's my problem. People draw like, well, care, but only in America, or only in Canada, or only in Saskatchewan, or only in this one little town, or only in this family, or only me. You know, when really you should care about, but also you need to care about yourself. It is, in fact, just think, if I didn't care about anyone in my family, right, or my wife, and just totally was, but cared about the whole world, would that still be okay? Would you think I was a moral person? Would you think I was a good person that did that? No. In fact, how I treated my wife, even if it wasn't, I treated everyone else great. If I treated my wife, beat her and fucking raped her and treated her like total dog shit, would that be okay? Fuck
That
no.
is not okay.
That's so not okay. All the other stuff wouldn't even matter, right, Corey?
Right.
About,
exactly.
but see, that's axiology. That's not utilitarianism. Because utilitarianism go, yeah, but look at all the benefit outweighs the bad.
Yes, exactly.
And axiology goes, fuck you.
Yeah.
The person is the value, not all that bullshit.
Yeah, that's right.
But
think.
So you say it's right because you understand axiology. That's what I said, Corey. If you really understand, everyone will use what I'm saying because it's fucking right. And you end up with more accurate, right answers.
Yeah, and even like the thing I don't like about utilitarianism is that you get people like a Musk or a Trump who have all the money in the world and they mistreat the people around them and they don't help anybody outside of their circle either. And then somehow they use utilitarianism, or like at least Musk does. They say, oh, but I'm working towards this goal, which is better for everyone. And that makes it okay that I'm this piece of garbage.
It doesn't. Just like I was saying to you, what I offer is great to humanity. My explanations of the DNA and the history and the myths and helping people free and understand is a freaking gift to humanity.
Yeah.
And I told you, and yet, to me, the most valuable thing I ever did was choose to live a life of kindness. Not just one time, not just to people that earn it. Like I told you, to me, axiologically, if someone has to earn it, is it really kindness? Or is it some sort of transactional bullshit?
Then it turns transactional.
Oh, exactly. I'm doing tit for tat. That's kindness. I'm like, yeah, actually, kindness is doing something special.
Yeah. If it's just, if you're doing transactional kindness, then it's just,
transactional to me. It's a pseudo kindness in a sense because it's limited. It's not from it looks like, in other words, it looks like kindness, but it's not from a place of kindness. That's like I was saying about, it's a place of kindness why Hunter Biden was done. No, a place of kindness, but you know what? No one should be on for drugs. And just taking all their senses away. Whole America. How about pot? He should have just legalized pot and everyone has commuted. Boom, done. Yeah. That, like I said, once again, that would have been like, hell yeah, I would have been. So this is what I think is weird is they think like if I say any negative thing, people somehow think like, that I'm anti-liberals and stuff. And if I say any, negative thing, I also could be pro-communist, I'm pro-conservative or something. I was like, right. Give me a fucking break. I am absolutely fucking anti-fucking conservative. What the fuck? Yeah. But
yeah, like I'm anti Donald Trump, but you know what he did? He did grant clemency to people who were in prison unjustly, more so than Biden did.
Right, and once again, see, axiologically, right? Because we have to take all the feelings out unless they are part of the evidence. Right. Because that's what I'm saying. If it's different, like say a utilitarian, the feelings matter if it's part of the evidence. Yeah. In other words, what I mean by that is axiologically understands, like I remember told you, the beginning in a sense, right? Which, or also is another way of saying it. We understand you have intrinsic value. Right. Right. Worth unto yourself. In a sense, unneeded to be justified in it almost as a sense. But it is a justification. I already talked to you about dignity and everything. But so you have, in other words, this is important. you cannot lose that unless you are dead.
Yeah.
In a sense, or brain dead, or where you can't think, where you're not a thinking being anymore. In a sense, that changes to me. You are no longer the same thing. Doesn't mean you don't have cultural value. Doesn't mean you have familial value. Like I said, care value. You have a lot of value. But I'm saying axiologically, when there's no more brain, when you're gone,
Yep.
you're gone. The value is what's happening to the feeling person.
Yeah, the people outside of you now, right?
Well, yes. Well, correct. And but I'm saying, so you were mattered in a sense up until you stopped. But yes, the value didn't like just gone. These other people now care about, but they always did.
Yeah.
It's just that never changes because axiologically they're still thinking beings. So all thinking beings are doing this, not the non-thinking in a sense. So it's important though, because what you're caring about is that, I told you with axiology, it's the person. It knows that the agent is doing the morality. That's the only thing you should be thinking about. In a sense, they're bumping around the world. They're the agent of morality, axiologically. And so they're touching or whatever. And this also when someone goes, well, Damien, I can mess your thing up real quick. Of course they can't. I'm like, yeah, I'm a thinker. So they go, oh, well, Damien, what if you have somebody who's a fire department? He's caring for more than his family. I said, see, but he made the choice to widen family to equal the town.
Yeah.
He'll die for the town. Normally you just die for your family. Now he'll die for the town. You may die for a friend, but now you've removed me into the family category.
Right.
Someone you die for. You don't just die for everybody.
Right.
You got what I'm saying? Because they all have different values. Doesn't mean that they don't thought. Like I told you before, I agree with in a sense, a hierarchy of how to think value-wise, but we don't do that to the person because they already have the value. It's like saying, well, is gold less or less value every time you melt it? It's still gold, right?
Still the same thing, yeah.
Well, it's still the same fucking thing. It hasn't fucking changed. It has to change for axiology to make a new thing.
Yeah.
The status hidden. So, like I told you, this has to do with like people go, oh, well, this person a monster. They're not a person anymore. And I'm like, yeah, if they're not a person, then we don't hold them accountable to be a person. It's simply axiologically to me. Yeah. We hold them accountable because we say you are a person and people can't do this.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what we tell them. To me, axiologically, that's. But anyways, I don't want to keep going about morality, but I feel like morality is important because these myths are trying to create a moral understanding of the world.
Right.
It's multifaceted. It's not just here's the world, blah blah, how it happened. It's here's the world, and that's why you have to do sacrifice. That's why you have to do ritual. That's why you have to, marry this person, not this person. Hate gays, kill witches, whatever, saying all these things are related to this. This is not like just think, if you remove in Christianity their creation myth, Adam and Eve, there was never original sin. There's never a need for Jesus, right? Yeah. There's never a need for Jesus. You don't need saving from something that never fucking happened.
Yeah.
You remove the creation myth, you have nothing left.
Yeah.
Just to grasp this. Let's read creation myths. I think we're ready to do that now. So just Reva says the methodological or naturalist school. Just read all this stuff. Some of this is about Proto-Indo-European again. Just read through it. Don't stop. Read. But I reason we're reading again because it's that important.
Okay.
Because grasping this is so you already I think get it about personification of nature in a sense.
Right.
It's so important to get this because then everything makes more sense.
The meteorological or naturalist school holds that Proto-Indo-European myths initially emerged as explanations for natural phenomena, such as the sky, the sun, the moon, and the dawn. The weather god Perkunos, Proto-Indo-European, the weather god in Proto-Indo-European mythology. Equivalents to Perkunos, Etruscan, Tinia, and Hercle, Greek Zeus and Heracles, Hindu Parjanya, Norse Thor, Roman Jupiter and Hercules, Slavic, Perun, Baltic, Percunus, Celtic, Taranis, Hittite, Tarhuna, are only attested in a limited number of traditions, Western, i.e. European, and Greco-Aryan, respectively.
All right. And so that goes back to and see, now you understand, because when you plot the myths out, you can kind of see patterns or lacks of patterns.
Yeah.
And so, like, unlike Graham Hancock, who seems to not have done that, just grabs one myth and thinks he can just explain all kinds of bullshit, right? He sounds like he's never talked to a mythicist or even thought about comparative mythology. He does and he doesn't. It's like he says stuff you think, oh, maybe he's going to think, oh, no. What? Yeah. Because there's actually more like logic to all this than saying, because see, I hear a lot of people that, well, no one knows. No, that's not.
Yeah. I actually had a comment on one of my YouTube videos that somebody was like, they were taking issue with something we said, and they said, no one knows what was going on back then. I'm like, hold on. I know for a fact that some people know what's going on.
Well, you must not have ever looked at Damien's channel, have you? Don't lie. You've never read one of his blogs, because that would not come out of your mouth.
Yeah, that's right. I may not know exactly what you're talking about or how to refute what your argument is, but when you say no one knows, I know that's wrong.
See? So all this has been productive.
For sure.
Right, because you start to grasp, that's what I'm saying, you start to grasp, oh, okay. And I think this is also a better thing, because like I saw you did a video on new atheism.
Right.
So to me, I've never considered myself a new atheist. I mean, in fact, I would tell people, no, I'm not.
Right.
In fact, if you want to say anything, I'm an old atheist, but that's actually an axiological atheist, so it has nothing to do with any of that shit. It has to do with that. Here's because I feel like also, to me, New Atheist was a movement that basically happened, I feel, as a reactionary response to threat from Islam. That would be just as a, even though, like I said, it's a letter to a Christian nation. Yeah, but really the goal is to then immediately go after Islam, because that really, and to say that's the big scary thing. And also the thought too, of even like Christian nation, it would be that, oh, Christians don't become Islam. Right? Yeah. Still using Islam. Still like, oh, what's not Islam? Still Islam. It's like, well, if you don't, look what will happen. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I'm saying it's still a reaction to Islam.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's why I always said, no, I am not a new atheist. I am an axiological atheist. I would be against it if there was never a 9/11. That's where we're different.
And I mean, not to get too deep into it, but I don't think we want to like lump all atheists into the same category, right? Like we were kind of talking about that specific movement at that specific time.
Well, so I am saying how it started. I'm not saying every single person who claimed to be a new atheist was a reactionary. I am saying Dawkins is a reactionary. Yeah. Sam Harris is a reactionary. Christopher Hitchens was a reactionary. Show me one of these. It was Daniel Dennett. I don't know as much about his political ideas. I'm assuming reactionary.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah. Why I assume that is he didn't do something against stuff. So then you try to not be threatening or something, which is reactionary. Yeah. Which is keeping the status quo, right? Right? That's not revolutionary to fucking be silent.
Nope, that's right.
Speak truth to power. No, I'm going to be silent. Okay, you're kind of part of the problem.
Yeah.
Anyways, my point is, I'm just saying, there's a lot of, so I'm not saying, because I don't think that Aaron Ra is a reactionary, although I don't think that I agree with everything he says. I would say probably I agree with him more.
He's a pretty progressive person, I think.
Right, so I'm just saying more, certainly. I do not agree with his Jesus mythicism. My personal, I haven't looked into it as hard as him, so I don't have super strong opinions about. I mean, some people say it's pseudo history for atheists to say that. I mean, it lists it as pseudo history. Jesus mythology is listed like on Wikipedia as.
Yeah,
I won't claim that because I didn't look myself enough to know that it's pseudo stuff. I just know that I don't need to do that. I just say, here's my thing. Because Armstrong goes, oh, it's a myth. I go, well, to me, I don't care if Jesus was a man. That really means fuck all to me. What I want to tell people is when I say I debunk Jesus, I'm not debunking that there's a man. I really could care less. I'm not even trying. You know what I'm debunking? No man was any god ever.
Yeah.
That's
right.
what I'm debunking.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's my position. So I don't even like, because like normally if I felt, put it this way, if I felt it got toxic, like because of that we can hate Christians, well then I would have to address it.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So because the hate, you know, say if it's became, because I don't think atheists generally go out of their way to hate, but I have absolutely heard some toxic hate coming from fucking some atheists. Like, oh my God,
that's
dude.
right.
Aren't we fighting for humanity also? I mean, at least I
know. which whether you can agree or whether you disagree with them or not includes Christians. It includes Muslims, you know, like so
but
yeah,
that's not how I like to roll.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go down because we have very little time left. Let's go down to where it says let's go down where it says gods had several titles, because I think this is important too. Because Christians think like, oh, ours was the highest God. I'm like, yeah, that's normal. Ours was the king. Yeah, that's normal. Our God was a shepherd. I'm like, yeah, that's normal. So do you see where it says that gods had several titles? Yeah, go ahead and read that.
Okay, so it says gods had several titles, typically the celebrated, the highest, king, or shepherd, with the notion that deities had their own idiom and true names, which might be kept secret from mortals in some circumstances. In Indo-European traditions, gods were seen as the dispensers or the givers of good things. Although certain individual deities were charged with the supervision of justice or contracts, in general, the Indo-European gods did not have an ethical character. Their immense power, which they could exercise at their pleasure, necessitated rituals.
Do you see why morality, right? I brought this up to this one guy. One guy goes, Damien, oh, maybe the Christian God's immoral, but the Norse gods are not immoral. And I said, if you have the power to feed children like Elon Musk and he doesn't do it, is he a good person?
Right.
No. Axiologically, no. Fuck no. Hell no. It will never be.
Now,
still no.
Yeah, and now give yourself the power of a god, right?
Right? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Now there's no hurt for you at all, and you still don't do it. You're not good.
Yeah,
you're not good. You're not good. Good is a quality of something you do.
Yes,
if
exactly.
You don't do it, you are not. Like people think sometimes, you know, that I could be good at philosophy or good at, you know, archaeology or myths or whatever, right? But that's a quality that I've demonstrated.
Right.
Not because you have fantasy believes like Graham Hancock. Like Graham Hancock's good. He isn't. even if we didn't have all the other problems, like it's racist propaganda he starts with, like the fact that, you know, he says all these impossibilities and doesn't even tell you where his culture comes from or who its predecessors were or any kind of DNA that relates to it. And then when he does, of course, I could debunk him because let him never put DNA in it. No, because let me tell you, when they know, they really know the DNA.
Yeah.
So fuck that. And then the people go, well, I'm sure. Yeah, because people don't get off of jail sentences because of DNA, right? That never happens. Or we shouldn't do that, right? I mean, like someone said, well, in 10 years, I'll agree with it. Oh, so in 10 years, we'll start letting people out of jail. Or should we let them out now? I mean, if you don't trust it, I mean,
DNA is DNA. Like, it's.
Yeah, like, so I guess I go, science denialism. And then this also, I feel, well, what if the DNA changes? And I go, what if the archaeology changes? You act like what? We know non-Graham Hancock and these, you know, hype men for Khan or something or whatever you want.
Yeah.
Atlantis hype men or pseudo history or whatever bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't do that, right? We're not hyping up us to the thing, right? Because they don't. When if you actually assess their stuff, they don't have a lot of substance. He doesn't even have as much substance as I have. He doesn't even have probably 10% of what I have.
Right. Yeah.
Fuck.
That's right.
My shit's so fucking good. Archaeologists looking like it. They look at your shit and they just fucking like vomit in their mouth. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So, but the thing is that I want you to understand that. Because like I said, you're starting to, right? You're starting to, there's a bunch of things now you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. Someone can't hardly even persuade you, right? You're like, I may not have the answer, but I know that's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't necessarily have the good argument against it, but I know that that's not true.
Right. And that's the most really important thing is you don't fall for bullshit. Because
Yeah.
you could always, if you wanted to, become more informed. Especially as you know, I provide lots of stuff we're not reading in the blog. Tons of shit that explains all kinds of shit. Because that's also why the blog's there. I don't make the videos 100% that because I want you to have more than the blog. The blog already has that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
So,
the information is there. So.
Right. And so it says right here, it says the history of ancient Near East spans 2 millennium, right?
Yeah.
And then it says the region, Middle East, Fertile Crescent. There has been go ahead and read that. There has been what? Much.
There
So
was much cultural contact. Yeah.
There's been much, which of course we've showed with DNA and the myths and everything else. Of course, all this was moving around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there was much cultural contact so that it is justified to summarize the whole region under a single term. But that does not mean, of course, that each historical period and each region should not be looked at individually for a detailed description. This article will attempt to outline the common traits of the ancient Near East religions and refer to sub-articles for in-depth descriptions. And then it's the ancient Near East includes the following sub-regions: Mesopotamia, Sumer, Assyria, Babylonia, Akkad, Sumerian religion, ancient Mesopotamian religion, ancient Egypt, ancient Egyptian religion, and Atenism, the Levant, Canaan, Ugarit, Ebla, Mitanni, ancient Canaanite religion, Judaism, Samaritanism, Yahwism, then Carthage and the Punic religion.
Do you know Yahweh is the Bible God's real name?
Yes.
Oh, look at you. Why don't you click on Yahweh? Let's see what it says. Is the Bible true, Corey? What does it say? Yahwehism what now?
Yahwism is called by modern scholars, as it is called by modern scholars, was the religion of ancient Israel and Judah, an ancient Semitic religion of the Iron Age. Yahwism was essentially polytheistic and had a pantheon and various gods and goddesses being worshipped by the Israelites.
Pause for a second. Wait a minute. I thought Christians knew their Bible.
There's only one God, isn't there?
Our God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, so you haven't read the information.
So no, actually, yeah.
So Corey's like, let's start with that's wrong.
Yeah, so I guess
we can go back.
Yahweh
I just thought that
was the head of that. Yeah,
fun little thing to learn. You know,
for sure.
Once again, yes, all the religions are similar. No, I'm not wrong. You are.
Yeah, exactly.
And no, it wasn't ancient aliens. No, it was not one culture doing everything. No, not even Siberians. No, as we saw, Siberians didn't do all the stuff. Literally, they didn't believe all the stuff. They couldn't do all this stuff. So we're back to the first thing against Graham Hancock and racists. Not saying that he particularly has to be, but it's the same argument against both of them. We have the evidence that it was never one culture, not even Siberians.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and this is not me making up, not exaggerating. This is just literally stating the accuracy. The DNA shows they didn't do everything. The myths show they didn't do everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a pattern, but they did a lot. And yes, a lot of it relates to it. But no, it's not the only thing. So to say one culture did everything is just wrong. Period. End of fuck. In every way. Wrong DNA, wrong mythology, wrong, structures. Just wrong all over the place.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing I was trying. Once you understand the truth, you understand it is this way, and we more than likely are accurate this way forever, unless you find some reason to believe otherwise. But more accuracy probably is going to be worse for you, the mythology person believer.
Yeah, that's right.
Would be for Damien, who thinks it is all mythology that's semi-related, but not all 100% the same thing. So like I said, the one culture thing is just absolute nonsense. So, what if, because that's, remember, you got to understand, his bullshit that Graham Hancock, one culture did it all. One ring rules them all. And you're like, but there was 7 rings though, right? So, you're saying there's only one is Gollum, because Gollum had one, so there was only one was actually wrong.
Yeah.
Anyways.
It's funny.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, to me, once you understand, because you're starting to get it, I know you are. So I know it gets, even though you don't study as much, don't read all the blogs or whatever, you still get to at least hear some of the evidence that I portray when we talk.
Yeah.
So, and just think, and that, watching the video, which is good to know, right? Watching the video, so that's about what you get to get, is enough to make you stop believing in myths with a confidence.
Yeah, that's right.
And to stop thinking it could be aliens. Like people go, well, what if it could? It can't.
Yeah.
And they go, well, what if people came down? They go, they didn't. That's like a person goes, well, maybe, if they're invading us slowly and we can't tell. I said, so slowly they have yet to arrive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's really slow.
You get my point. Here's the point. If they did, let's assume I'm wrong, right? We're wrong.
Sure.
They came. Okay, well, they never talk to humans because all humans is very obviously humans doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, that is a fact. That fact won't change.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, sure. Okay, you want to believe that aliens came, but that doesn't mean they interacted at all, because all of this looks like people.
And I know that's like the one John goes, what if the archaeology, he has this meme, which is funny, but I always answer it the same way. He goes, what if the archaeologists are right?
Yeah, what if?
Right, which is still funny. But I always answer it, I know they're right. I looked for myself.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like one of the few people that don't have to believe them. I know they're right on most of the stuff. Only thing, I think I said, it's connected, but I mean, everything else they're right. I use all the same DNA, all the things, even all the myths. I try to use everything exactly what they would agree with. I just see the connection.
Yeah.
Which I think that also some of them are starting to see the connection, because not because like Graham Hancock, I just keep attacking them.
Right.
One person wins an argument in a real way. Let's just, Graham Hancock, just think for a second, really. He's not going to, because he cares about money. But the viewer that thinks Graham Hancock is somehow credible, if he would just keep producing, like me, better, more accurate information that proves his point.
Yeah.
Not turn to attacking all the people that are archaeologists. I told you,
right.
If archaeologists, and let's assume some think I'm wrong. Good. Then it's my job to prove it.
Yeah.
Graham Hancock has it backwards. It's not, then Damien gets to hate them. What the fuck? What the fuck is that bullshit?
No, that's not how it works.
You get my point? For the life of me, I'm telling you, Corey, that never makes sense to me.
No.
Because you get my point. Even if Graham Hancock is right, he has no right to attack John Hoops.
Nope.
I mean, he just doesn't.
Yeah, he has to provide the evidence for why he might be right. Like, that's how that works.
Right. And let's just say, so like a Flint Dibble, right? So he talked to Flint Dibble for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. One time in the 3.5 hours, he said something. He said, we have studied, I don't know, 33,000, I don't remember the number, 33,000 boats. I'm just going to talk about this real quick, about morality too. So
Okay.
he makes this statement, right?
Yeah.
And they go, he's lying. He's a liar. He always lies. First off, even if he lied, do you see how it became illogical?
Yeah, you can't say
He's
because he
now
lied
always
this
a
one
liar.
time.
We can never trust any archaeologist because he made one inaccurate. Even if he was inaccurate, an accuracy is not lying.
Right. And then another leap from one liar to always lying, or one lie to always lying.
Right. The first is one lie, always lie, and then the whole system is lying because of that one lie. It's literally like a fallacy on top of fallacy, and then so it's a fallacy, and then they think then it will equal good. Like, no.
Yeah.
The moon is black, the cheese is red, and the sky is white. And you're like, the fuck? Yeah, I mean.
And yet, I still accept scientific fact.
Yeah, I mean. So, yeah, that's not literally, as I'm just saying, I think about philosophy too, and I'm like, those are not philosophy arguments. Those are dog shit. Those are little dog shit. Yeah. And then even the intellectual honesty, because you can go look it up. Intellectual honesty, you should strive, right? To be intellectually honest. Strive not to, plagiarize, strive not to lie or not give facts, because I think he does that a lot. Not giving facts when the facts are available or that they could be, or you may even know about, is fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I've had you read about the Dane Caucasian hypothesis, and it says they don't think it's true. I actually think there's a bigger hypothesis even than that. But I didn't have you not read that they don't believe that.
Right.
To try to make mine sound better. See what I'm saying? If I did, I would see that as intellectually dishonest.
Yeah.
See? But I say that they think that because they're only doing linguistics. I'm looking at the DNA, the archaeology, and the linguistics.
Yeah.
That makes a different picture. Anyways, but I'm just trying to say is that it's that, though, that everyone has the burden to do this. The burden of proof. Yeah. And it's shifting the burden of proof to other people is literally ridiculous. Especially like when you're the one presenting the alternative hypothesis, then you have to prove it. Because until then, John Hoops is 100% right, Graham. Yeah. And he doesn't even have to try because he has a no hypothesis, which you start with that your alternative is wrong. That's how you start. And then you have to prove it right.
Yep.
John Hoops can start with the Damien's hypothesis is wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets to do that. In fact, that's what science does. And then it's Damien that got to go, well, there is this.
Here's what I'm saying.
And there is this, and there is this, and there is this. Then John Hoops can say, it does appear that there is something maybe going on.
Yeah.
Or whatever. He may not say that. I don't know. My point is I'm just saying that would be logical how you do that. Yeah. But until then, John Hoops has every right, and I cannot attack him, Graham, or I'm the one that's fucked up, not John Hoops. John Hoops says, I don't agree with Damien's theory. My assumption is that he has an alternative hypothesis, and I will stick with the no hypothesis that he is wrong. And he has every right to do that. And I would not get offended in any kind of way. Because Graham Hancock, that is logical. And I support reason. What the fuck? Now, I think after all the evidence, if they still think that I'm wrong, then I'm like questioning, did you really check the evidence?
Right.
But guess what? Even if they did, and they still feel that, okay, I still wouldn't attack him. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Even if he went, I'm serious about this. Even if John Hoops went out of his way to say he thinks I am wrong, I still wouldn't attack him. I would say, okay, well, I'll try to look at my theory and how to explain it better, or I will try to assess it again if maybe I'm missing an error.
Or maybe a person could communicate with John or whoever is saying that you're wrong and find out where they're finding your errors.
Right. And improve maybe or change if needed, right? The logical thing to do. But I'm just
Yep.
making a comment, though. I'm just saying, even if that happened, nothing would change. Like my opinion of John Hoots being great, he could still be great and think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
my thinking of him is the quality of what he is, not does he believe my theories.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I know this Graham Hancock is probably way over your head because you're like, dude, I'm just trying to make money. So, you know, I get it. You're a capitalist, but I'm not. I actually care about people. I do this because I care, just like Corey does. So, speaking of Corey, go ahead and tell us where to find you and what the fun things and cool things you're doing and why people should follow you.
Yeah, I do interviews, and I've got my show Red Reviews that I do with my buddy Justin. We're over on the Skeptical Leftist YouTube channel and podcast apps everywhere. Constantly working. I'm working on a podcast version of the show that I do with Damien. I'm working on a separate podcast feed for just Red Reviews. I've got tons of stuff in the go. I just did a cool collaboration with another YouTuber talking about a movie. So
Right on.
yeah, lots on the go. Just look for the Skeptical Leftist.
Right on, yeah, because I told you I want to do stuff like once a month or at least on your channel.
Yep, for sure.
So it's limited content just on your channel because people know it's not like I do, a lot of other people's channels or that
Right.
I do a lot of videos without Corey or something.
Right. Yeah, it's been a while actually.
Right. You get my point is that for a while I didn't do interviews, but I stopped wanting to do interviews. I'm open to do them now. That's like I was not in the mood to debate because my mom died, and for 3-4 years, man, I felt like absolute dog shit because of thinking about my childhood and stuff. It just fucked me up bad.
Yeah.
So it wasn't grief so much for her as like grief about I don't know. It was weird because but up to that point, until she died, I told you before, I felt confident. I felt strong as fuck. I mean, and then when she died, I became a child again. It was like I thought I had worked through all my childhood bullshit, and it's like it just dumped all back on my head again.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I told you, just crying every fucking day. It fucking sucked. Anyway, I'm glad I'm not doing that no more. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Things like that, major deaths in the family can impact us pretty heavily, in a variety of ways. So
Yeah, right. So I also get religion. That's why when people say like I don't care or something, I do care. I've never said I don't care about people. I absolutely do care about people. I don't like lies. I've showed why these are myths and lies.
yeah.
This is not truth. This is untruth. And once you know it's untruth and you keep telling it, then it's a lie.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyways, I'm just saying. So it's about care. I mean, I told you, I care. I do this stuff not because it makes my ego feel good. I do this because I really care. I was 35 years not caring. Fuck, I almost didn't make it. That's fucking adulthood. That's that you're usually fucked by that point.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah.
Right. So I truly get that, man. There's people we can get to. This really fucking matters. So I told you, I think what you do matters too, and why I want to support your channel, and I want people to go there and show you support because it matters. I'm not doing this to try to fucking get money. I'm doing this because I care. When I write my book, then I'll try to get money.
Yeah.
But still, not really like a capitalist because have I done that yet? No.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
Like I told you, I figured out a weapon that the capitalists will never be able to stop. I'm going to give stuff away for free.
Yeah, that's right.
For fucking years. And I'm going to explain shit that is so fucking good that colleges should teach it. And yet I'm going to give it for free and make it as simple as I can so people can grasp it because I care.
Yep.
I mean, like I told you, I feel like it's anarchist outreach. I show you don't need someone else to think for you. You don't need Marx. You don't need Lenin. You don't even need me. I don't want you to need me. I want you to learn tools so you can empower yourself. I feel like that's an anarchist call in general. We're not trying to save you. We're not coming to rescue, do it for you.
Right. We're
saying, look how you do it for yourself. You should matter so much for yourself that you just go, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because, in a sense, freedom of the mind is some of the most lasting freedom. It doesn't even matter if I was in jail, I can be free. Or you can live a capitalist life and never be free.
Yeah, exactly. Does Elon Musk actually strike you as somebody who's happy or free in a sense?
No,
I
if
don't
he
think
was,
so.
then why does he need attention so bad?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Same with Donald Trump. If this
Yeah.
was such a great model, let's all fuck America great again. I don't know. These people seem to fucking, in a very unhealthy way, need approval.
Yep.
I mean, it's not wrong to need approval, but it's not need approval on that level. Even
Right,
Donald Trump,
exactly.
he will accept someone calling him fucking everything under the sun if all of a sudden they change and they say something nice. He
Yep.
wants approval so fucking. He's got no consistency other than wanting approval. You could
Yeah.
literally be the fucking serial killer, but as soon as you say, "Well, I do like your hair," or "You're sure, it's okay that you stand up and do the right thing." I mean, that's all. It's like gross. It's like as much as the people want to worship him, he desperately wants worship. Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
Like a
that's
little fucking baby that just needs everything. Anyway.
For sure.
But of course,
Right on.
just before we end it, everyone to know too that I think Biden should also, I don't know, be tried by the criminal court, the international court, and fucking go to jail as a war criminal.
Yeah.
What he has done to support and help Israel is unethical as fuck.
Yeah. And even specifically his defense of Netanyahu, who has been found like an arrest warrant for him.
Keeping him from getting arrested. Because America could say yes, and that fucker would be gone.
Yep.
So, fuck.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, going back to axiology. Fuck.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Right on.
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist-humanist philosopher and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, agnosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion.